Oh, hello there. I didn't notice you were watching. So, as you could tell, I was reading Chainsaw Man, a great shonen series, phenomenal story and why not. But I'm here not to talk about Chainsaw Man. No, I'm talking about something even better, which is Kagura Bachi. Because Kagura Bachi has been the series that has absolutely blown the internet and has changed my life. After reading Kagura Bachi, I have become, I believe, a better man, a better human being, and I think I've learned, life lessons that otherwise I would have never learned. Because Kagura Bachi is genuinely peak fiction from beginning to end. That first chapter, as of the recording of this video, there's only 2 chapters out, and I'm just gonna discuss the first chapter because the first chapter is what moved me and inspired me to make this video because it's truly a masterpiece amongst nothing. Nothing even comes close. Series like Vinland Saga, Berserk, Pun Pun, Monster. These goated series like Hunter x Hunter, Chainsaw Man, One Piece. They all wish that they were Kagura Bachi, and they're not. Kagura Bachi is a trailblazer of a series that is never have been done before, and it moved me to my core. I can't even tell you and describe how it literally lifted me up and made me climb from get off my it made me a better man. Like, I think it changed me as a individual to become a better more heartwarming, and it just made me a better person overall. And I just want to talk about Kagura Bachi, and as you saw in the video, I'm going to talk about it until my iPhone dies. And just for context, I got an iPhone 12 Pro Max, and this is going to be I'm using cinematic mode, and it's going to be shooting one take, no cuts. So if you're watching this, strap in, get some food, put it in the background, whatever you want to do. This could be a podcast, who knows. You're going to just experience the true peak fiction of what Kagura Bachi is in this long, very detailed, very calculating, very well-structured video that you're about to witness. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, before you do that, make sure to subscribe, comment and like my YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. It's my 100th video, so this will be my most ambitious video to date. So with all that out of the way, make sure to subscribe and enjoy the show from here on. Now, before I do, let me drink some water because I know I'm going to talk a lot. So give me 1 second. Because Kagura Bachi is about to blow you guys' mind, and it's going to be something unlike anything, So where do I even start with Kagura Bachi? Kagura Bachi came out in September 18 of this year, and within its debut, it not only broke all the manga sales for a first chapter ever made. Like, manga sales don't even work like that. They sell them for volumes. That's how you get your manga sales. But for Kagura Bachi, they were so confident that it was going to be a moneymaker that they just printed it out, and volume. The first chapter came out, and they sold it as a chapter. It was only something. It wasn't even like a volume. They just sold it as a chapter, and it blew all-time records. One Piece is second place now. Nothing even comes close to it. It made over 1 billion copies sold. And once again, I want to emphasize that the reason it did that is because it's big fiction. Because you just don't get a series that gets a chapter 1 that makes these many numbers. And I think the main reason that Kagura Bachi blew up as it did is because in the first chapter, we're introduced to the greatest protagonist in all of fiction, which is Chihiro. Chihiro is a swordsman that I would call the real black swordsman. A lot of people call Guts from Berserk the greatest swordsman, greatest protagonist of all fiction. Yeah, right. No, it's Chihiro. Chihiro is the true and only black swordsman. And I think that the thing that elevates Chihiro to another level is that what he says, and he has one of the most iconic lines I've ever seen in any fiction, whether it's a movie, a show, a novel, a book, anything. We get when you think of peak fiction, you think of moments of dialogue along the lines of something where Thorfinn from Vinland Saga, where he says, "I have no enemies." Eren from Attack on Titan, when he says, "All I can do is move forward." Guts, where he says that he shall, his conviction. These iconic moments where he leaves the Griffith. Iconic moments where these important lines. Itachi saying, "Sorry, Sasuke, I'll see you next time." these big emotional lines, and Shihiro has one of those that stuck with me and shook me to my core, which was where he looks at at us as the audience, and he tells us that he's not gonna he's not gonna live up, he's not gonna put up with the scum in his world, and he proceeds to tell them, scum like themselves, these Yakuza members, they should not be allowed to have these katanas. And it showed Shihiro's character growth from a kid that just seemed very whatever to a protagonist that it transcends writing itself, because you don't get characters that just they go overnight and become goated. Like, it takes time. I mean, for example, Thorfinn took many chapters to become the Thorfinn that he is today in Vinland Saga. Shihiro did that in one chapter. Same thing with Guts, same thing with Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter. All these great MCs, Denji, they all take time, and Shihiro did that in one chapter. And I think that's something that we don't see at all in fiction. And I think that the manga got to the point, and it made Shihiro become the GOAT, like, easy as that. Now let me drink some water because my throat is hurting. So give me 1 second, guys. Ooh, okay. So I want to talk also about the art style, because that's one of the things about KaguraBachi that really elevates it to another level, which is its art. It's not art that I've ever seen ever in a manga or anime or comic book strip. The art style of KaguraBachi is truly amongst some of the greatest, if not, no, I would go as far as to say as the greatest artwork ever depicted. Da Vinci's, Mona Lisa, artworks like that, Kentaro Miura's Berserk, manga like that, they don't hold a candle to KaguraBachi, because KaguraBachi, the line work and the detail to, all these other, like the Mona Lisa, Kentaro Miura, they put a lot of emphasis into the shading and, the detail. KaguraBachi says, screw that, I'm going to do my own thing. And it does, because it keeps it simplistic, but it's so simplistic that it makes it be transcendent. Like, it's something that when you look at it, you just can't stop but to continue to look at it, because you realize that you're truly amongst some of the greatest artworks. You're witnessing, art itself. And that's something that really, awoken something in me, in my passion for art and pursuing art, because this is art that, you'll never see in another generation. We will never see another, KaguraBachi. KaguraBachi will remain the greatest piece of artwork. And I think that what's crazy about it, it was in one chapter. In one chapter, we got all of that. And I think that that's something that, we don't get at all with a series. Berserk didn't start looking like it does now. It worked its way there. And the way that, KaguraBachi just blew up, and in that first chapter had one of the most iconic, like, fight sequences I've ever seen, where, Shihiro just slices a bunch of Yakuza. It's something that you can't stop but behold and, admire and just be blown away with its execution and magnificence. And while I want to talk about that, let's talk about, like, what happens in the lost chapters, which this is going to consist a lot about, stuff that hasn't even been put out. It's a bunch of leaks. And I want to talk about when, Shihiro, the protagonist of KaguraBachi, fights the evil protagonist of KaguraBachi Evil, which is a spin-off of KaguraBachi. And it's a crossover nobody ever saw coming. We all knew that the spin-off of KaguraBachi, KaguraBachi Evil was popular, but we didn't know that it was going to be this popular to the point that they have a crossover between the two of them, and Shihiro has to fight the evil Shihiro. And I think that the fight, even though it was a 400 chapter fight, I think it really never felt old. Okay, I couldn't give you that one. All right. Okay. All right. Hold on. Couldn't keep a straight face with the 400 chapter bit. Okay, hold on. All right. So, I was saying, as I was saying before, I was distracted by my inner conscious. That 400 chapter fight, it really elevated, Shihiro's power system to another level, where now he is a omnipotent, I can't even say the darn word. He has an omnipotent, if that's the word, omnipotent presence in the verse where he can just, he's the one and only true, like, entity. He's a deity, in other words. Just picture Zeno from Dragon Ball Super, like, Chihiro blows him out of the way. He completely squashes him, and it's not even a contest. And there's the whole meme where, can he beat Goku? The real question now is going to be who can beat Chihiro, because Chihiro has, not only solidified himself as the greatest swordsman of all time in anime and manga and fiction as a whole, he's also solidified himself as a force of nature unlike anything else. Like, the universe itself, is not able to contain Chihiro because he's a multiverse being. And I think it will be pretty cool looking forward, to Chihiro's power, because this is before the time skip, because later on they did another spin-off called Kagura Bachi Future, where, this is all according to leaks, okay? So they haven't published them yet, but this is all in the, the script of the author of Kagura Bachi. So this is going to happen in the future. So the KaguraBachi Future spinoff is where KaguraBachi, that's going to take 100 years from now. And if you read, the KaguraBachi Evil spinoff, where the 400 chapter fight takes place, you do know where the crossover happens. You do know that, Chihiro, he got that powerful in 1 year. He went from a little boy to he went from a little boy to a full-grown adult in a year. And that really, speaks volumes to Chihiro's character growth, where he defined the genetics of a human being and transcended to become an adult. And not just that, he ended up becoming the strongest being in all of fiction. And that's something that we as humans, I think it was very metaphorical in the sense of, Chihiro, he's a guiding force for us as humans to, strive to become the best that we can. But, Chihiro is just in another level. He takes it to another level. He's he takes it to such an extent that he hasn't even seen his potential yet. And that's the scary part, because right now Chihiro is the strongest being in fiction, and it's only going to get stronger because, like I said, we're in the pre-time skip. So going forward in the 100-year KaguraBachi Future spinoff, that's where you see the time skip. And that's where we'll see Chihiro's true power in the future. And continuing on, let's talk about Kagura Bachi and its villain, the evil Kagura Bachi, which is the evil Chihiro. The evil Chihiro is, to me, the greatest villain in all of fiction as well, because when you think of villains in fiction, you think about villains such as Michael Corleone from The Godfather. You think about Griffith from Berserk, Johann Liebert from Monster, Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, Doflamingo, One Piece, Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. And I would make a claim as to put the evil Chihiro up amongst all of them, because the evil Chihiro, in that 400 chapter fight, in the spinoff of the evil KaguraBachi spinoff, in that fight, you really see the evil Chihiro's whole growth, and you see that within that 400 chapter fight, you see a 200 hold on, guys. My inner conscience is trying to stop me from, speaking the truth, but I think I got it under control. But like I was saying, the evil Chihiro, in that 400 chapter fight, we also get a 200 chapter flashback where we get sorry guys, my inner conscience once again is trying to take over me, but I will try to keep it keep it tame. But in all seriousness, like I was saying, for my third attempt trying to say this, while the evil KaguraBachi, and the rightful good KaguraBachi, the MC, while they're fighting in that 400 chapter fight, there's a 200 chapter flashback where we get to see the evil KaguraBachi's, aka the evil Chihiro's, growth and why he became the villain that he is. And you think of, like I said, characters like Thanos where they have a motive, or Griffith and Doflamingo, people that just had been, their upbringing is what made them be the villains that they are. But it takes them, all this time to, establish why they became the villains that they are today. And and it takes years to really, blow up in pop culture. But Kagura Bachi, the evil Chihiro, he managed to do that in one chapter. And well, technically in the 400 chapters in the spinoff, but his introduction to the chapter 2 of Kagura Bachi, that's what really paid off. But in the first chapter of this flashback, we get all his flashback. The remaining 199 chapters is just him, just being evil and seeing how evil and how terrible of a person he is. So we only needed one chapter of his flashback, but the author was so good at really depicting the evil side of that evil Chihiro that he decided to make an extra 199 chapters of just consistently repeating the same flashback, because that's how good it was. We as the audience, we needed to see that multiple times to get it embedded into our brain. Like, yeah, this evil Chihiro is a monster. And I think that those 200 chapters of the same chapter over and over and over really paid, it really painted the picture for this to happen. Like, for us to be here in our day and age and just realize the inner workings of a genius's mind, which is what the author of Kagura Bachi did perfectly with the evil Kagura Bachi and his backstory, where, he didn't beat the bush. He didn't beat around the bush. He gave us an amazing chapter, and, he was very smart in the sense, like, if I can't top this, I'm just going to repeat it. And it did work, because it got better and better as I kept reading it, constantly in a loop. In those 200 chapters, I just kept reading the same thing, and it became part of my life. Like, now I just close my eyes. Every time I close my eyes, even when I'm blinking right now, like I just did right now, I think of that flashback, and I think that's genius. It embedded into our brains, and now it's something that will live with me forever. It made me cry. Like, it's something that really sticks with you in your life and in generations to come. I think anybody that experiences Kagura Bachi will know what I'm talking about. Now, let me drink some water. Now, let's talk about the power system in Kagura Bachi. Because the power system in Kagura Bachi is something that, mangaka wish they could do in the amount of time the author had, which is, like I said, one chapter, and then the spin-offs later explain more of the power system in Kagura Bachi, which it's pretty much cursed weapons. And, when you think about some of the greatest power systems in anime and manga, you think about power systems such as, The Last Airbender with Aang and the earthbending and all that. You think of Nen in Hunter x Hunter. You think of Stans in JoJo's. And, something like Jujutsu Kaisen as well, with the curse techniques and all that. But the way that Kagura Bachi portrays its power system is immaculate. I think it's phenomenal, and I think it's the single greatest power system in all of fiction as well. Which, if I had to break it down, why, is because pretty much what it comes down to is it's so complex that there's literally dictionaries like size indexes where you really have to capsulate it. It encapsulates all the power system, like the counters to each counter. Like, a cursed weapon sword will lose to a cursed weapon shield, and I think that's very complex because like shields, you usually think that they protect your weapon, but to be able to defeat a sword, it's something that it's unheard of. I never heard of a shield being able to go against a sword. I always heard that the sword would destroy the shield, but no, it really pushed something forward, a new norm in society where a shield will be able to withstand a sword. And there's also the power system of a paper weapon being destroyed by a sharp object, which is something that, like scissors, for example, paper losing to scissors, that's something I never heard of. And I think you guys could agree that kind of genius of power systems is something that we need more in, not just shonen but in fiction, where we get something that makes it so there's counters, and there's, like I said, there's the power system itself is so complex that they made a dictionary size index book where you can read every counter to every counter. And if I had to break it down, like I said, the reason that the power system works is because the way they execute it, especially in that 400 chapter fight where the evil Chihiro fights the main MC of Kagura Bachi. We see them fight and constantly, do the rock, paper, scissors. And you see the power system really show up there where, in that 400 chapter fight, throughout it all, you see constant rock, paper, scissors fights. And sometimes it's, both rock and you're like, whoa, it's an even match. And it really shows that they're both evenly matched in strength, but also in their brain capacity, because they're both such genius, tactitional geniuses when it comes to battles. And it shows why, because they constantly, they're at each other's throats, and they're constantly matching each other's skills, not only in swordsmanship, but also in their intelligence. And as the power system evolves, you eventually see that the cursed weapons weren't even the weapons themselves. The users were the weapons. And that's something that you're like, whoa. You're telling me that the strength doesn't come from the weapon itself, it comes from the human. And I think that's something that's very metaphorical, in the sense that, we as humans, we're the biggest weapons in the world. We'll always cause mass destruction, and we're also the most dangerous species there ever has been in our Earth society. And I think the way that Kagura Bachi really emphasized the evils and the power struggle of humanity with this power system consisting of, like I said, an example, rock, paper, scissors. I think it's very genius and unlike anything I've ever seen. Togashi, if I remember correctly, I think Togashi, the author of Hunter x Hunter, he sent out a letter which got leaked to the author of Kagura Bachi, and he's pretty much said, like, I wish that when I created Nen, I would have thought something as complex as this, because this makes Nen look like a kindergarten maiden. And that's something that I would agree with, because even though Nen is amazing as it is, Kagura Bachi's power system is above all else. And also, you got to think about it. Like, Nen is very, very, very smart, but it also gets, over your head. Kagura Bachi's power system, like I said, even though it's the size of a dictionary, you can read a dictionary. It's nothing too big. I mean, if the average lifespan of a human is somewhere along the lines of 70 or 80, you have more than enough to read that book. And once you do read it, it will change your mind, because it will change not only your mind, but your life going forward, because you'll know the greatness that is the power system of Kagura Bachi. Because this power system, even though the evil Kagura Bachi and the main Chihiro, when they fought in that spin-off in that 400 chapter fight, that's only one fight. And remember, they had to get the rematch, because the evil Chihiro, he wasn't pleased, and he wanted his revenge. And then that led up to the 600 chapter evil Chihiro rescue arc, which, let's talk about the evil Chihiro rescue arc, because after the evil Chihiro gets defeated, he leaves and he tells Chihiro, like, hey, I'll come back for you. And Chihiro delivers one of the greatest lines in all of fiction, where he says, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. And that's when the evil Chihiro's like, he takes a step back, and he's like, you know what, I will not fight you just yet. I'll have to train and become a stronger swordsman. And he does. He disappears. And then Chihiro feels bad, because that's his best friend. Because as a plot twist later on in the story, we find out that the evil Chihiro is actually his twin brother. And just to make a difference, Chihiro's name at the end, like Chihiro, the main MC Chihiro is just spelled Chihiro, but the evil brother's name is Chihiro as well, but with a capital O at the end. So that's where we find out the big plot twist, that's his twin brother. And we see that during those 600 chapters, it's a 600 chapter training arc, where he's training to rescue his evil twin brother. And that's where we see that Chihiro, he really stumbles, and we already thought he was the greatest protagonist in all of fiction. But during those 600 chapters, he constantly he does the same workout, and he does the same training. But even though it kept happening over and over and over again, it really motivated me to like go outside and also become a better human. Be like I said, keep doing the same routine. And I think that's the metaphorical sense of that training arc, which even though those 600 chapters similar to the evil Chihiro fight, where we get 200 chapters of the flashback, that is the same thing. Same thing with the training arc. Those 600 chapters is Chihiro still doing the same workout. And I think that, like I said, it was something very deep that the writer thought about, where it was like, okay, let's make it so this Chihiro, the RMC, Let's show and demonstrate something that makes us as humans just believe that we can continue doing our same routines, and even though sometimes you might feel tired, continue pushing forward. And I think that's something that Chihiro encapsulated with those 600 chapters, because even though it was the same panels in every chapter for those 600 chapters, we had the same panel layout, it wasn't the same for my heart, because my heart kept moving and improving and becoming more enriched from the same product over and over and over again. And I think that was the genius of this author, because we don't see that. And when we do, we complain like, oh, it didn't work here, why they keep showing the same thing. No, with this it worked. I would go as far as to say that those 600 chapters were essential for the plot. Sometimes One Piece takes its time with 1,000 chapters and whatnot, but like I said, right now in the story, currently in the KaguraBachi spin-off, not in the main story because we only got 2 chapters, but in the spin-off, which is it's canon to KaguraBachi, but in the spin-off KaguraBachi, the one that got leaked, where it's pretty much everything that's going to happen in the future, we see that KaguraBachi, the author, plans it to be a 7,000 chapter manga. So we're not even at the surface of it. People say that, Detective Conan, One Piece, they're some of the great longest running stories of all time, but at the end of the day, KaguraBachi is going to stand on top and be both of them, because that's what he thinks right now. And he said that he's not even sure that 7,000 chapters would be enough to really explain all the story. And I think that's phenomenal for us, because I think by the time that we finish reading the story, I think we'll be all earning before our deaths to see the final chapter. Because people talk to themselves and ask, like, what's the One Piece? What's the end goal of One Piece? I think that right now we're asking ourselves that with KaguraBachi, like, if 7,000 chapters is enough length, at least for right now, we're only praying and hoping that we can make it to the 7,000 chapter. And for those fans that don't make it, in the years to come, to live until that 7,000 chapter gets released, that's tragedy. Like, that's sad, because you're really missing out in the greatest story to ever be depicted in fiction, which is KaguraBachi. And I think that if 7,000 chapters is not enough, I think maybe the author will push the limits of what a mangaka can do by really, making it so once he dies, maybe he doesn't finish the story, he'll have his son write the story. And if his son, doesn't finish the story, maybe his the son of the son, and so forward. And I think personally what that might be what the author does, where he makes it so KaguraBachi will live on as long as society and humankind lives. A story of work that will never stop. And I think that's the beauty of it, because I can see KaguraBachi going for potentially 1,000,000 chapters, which is unheard of. But if you think about human society and how much we strive and how much we live, I think that 1,000,000 chapters is not too far ahead, like, thinking about it, because that would make it, what, if it's a weekly series, that makes it 7 million weeks from now. I think that if humankind's still around, then we can make it. I think, like I said, KaguraBachi will continue to grow and strive until society and humankind goes extinct. And even past then, I think that evolution will come to a sense where they find KaguraBachi's work, and they'll find the final script and the rough draft of all the family of the author that made KaguraBachi. And I think years from now, whether it's aliens or just animals evolving or something, anything that has high intellect will eventually find that, and continue the story going forward. And I think it will spread around the verse. I think it will spread around the cosmos, and KaguraBachi will be known as, the defining trait that, human life, and not even human life, I think the universe itself will have only one rule, and that rule will be the KaguraBachi rule, which is no matter how far we come across, I think that KaguraBachi is something that will stick with us. Like, especially, like I said, that line where he says, like, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. Like, that's iconic. Sorry, Thorfinn, that I have no enemies. I think that this line beats it. Like, it's not even close, because the intensity of the delivery and the paneling work, I think it's something that, in the future we'll see many documentaries about it. And I'm sure that KaguraBachi, when it does end, we'll probably get, like I said, another spin-off, because right now we're talking about the leaks where the he's thinking about this is all from one chapter. And even though it's only been one chapter in the main series, all the series are canon. And he eventually trades the Kagura Bachi IP name from the chapter 1 to the future Kagura Bachi spinoff, which is the one that he plans to have 7,000 chapters on. So that's why I'm talking about that Kagura Bachi going forward, because Kagura Bachi is such an iconic IP that I think that, like I said, One Piece, and I believe that Ichiro Oda even made a statement where he said that he was going to finish One Piece as fast as possible because One Piece was not doing the sales anymore. Kagura Bachi stole the sales, and it became to the point where Shonen Jump had to kick out One Piece because they wanted to make Kagura Bachi Chapter 1 just like keep reprinting it and keep reissuing it because it was that successful. During the final war and during the final arc of One Piece, they said, this is taking way too long. We need to make it so we gotta keep our audience, entertained. And they figured out, like, let's just reissue the same chapter of Kagura Bachi over and over again. And eventually it came to the point where all the other shonen series were kicked out of the magazine, and the magazine itself becomes the Kagura Bachi Jump. Like, and then it pays off to the spinoff. Shonen Jump just, it gets eliminated. That IP gets eliminated because it wasn't selling anymore. Kagura Bachi was really what was selling, and I think it shows because the big three eventually become Kagura Bachi, and Kagura Bachi. That's the new big three, and that's something that, whether you're an old head or, an anime purist, you got to move on and think about, like, Kagura Bachi is here, and it's already taken over. Like, it's great series like Berserk, Monster, Full Metal Alchemist, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece. They all had their time in the sun. They had great success, but now it's time to move on and turn a new leaf and adapt to the future, which is Kagura Bachi. Like, Kagura Bachi really shook writing itself, and to the point that even across the world, not only in Japan, American schools are now teaching in writing. When it comes to writing and storytelling, the only thing that they teach is Kagura Bachi, because it's a story that transcends cultures, and it's something that sticks with you. Like I said, it's something that any human can relate to, no matter where you're from. And I think that Kagura Bachi is a story that will continue to grow, because, like I said, if we're only right now in the story around the 600 chapter mark, and the story is supposed to be 7,000 chapters, we're not even a tenth of the way there. And I think that once we get to chapter 1,000, maybe the author by that point, he'll realize, okay, 7,000 chapters is not enough. I need more. And he'll continue to add more and more to the point where Kagura Bachi gets, like I said, 1,000,000 chapters, and even so forward, maybe past that, because, the universe will continue and the stories will continue to move forward. And I think that Kagura Bachi would just continue to grow. Now let me drink some water. Ooh. But continue with Kagura Bachi, I think that Chihiro's a MC is something fascinating, because when I first saw him, I came in and I was like, okay, he's probably gonna be bland, generic, just any other day MC. But he really shook a chord in me, and like Chihiro, when he tells those Yakuza, like, scum like yourselves, you should not be wielding katanas. That's something that you're like, whoa, he is the GOAT. He is him. Characters, like I said, like Gon, Thorfinn, characters like that, they had their time in the sun, but you gotta move on. It's Kagura Bachi time, and it shows. Like, Chihiro, his growth from being a kid to being the man that he is today in the story is incredible. Unlike anything I've ever seen, it's a story that any young kid can grow and learn from. And the life lessons that Chihiro he teaches us as the story continues. It's something that we always strive to, like, okay, I want to be a role model for my kid, for all the parents out there. And Chihiro, he is that role model, even not just for the parents, but for the parents themselves too. He's a role model because, like I said, we see his growth from a kid to an adult in 1 year. Like he genuinely transforms. Like he changed his genetic to grow and become a man. And what's amazing about that is, I think, like I said, it's something for us to push forward and to grow, and stop lacking in the conviction of to grow up and become adult. I think it's a message for adults as well. Like stop stop laying around and become a true adult. And because he said I can do this in 1 year. So I think that's, he was saying, like, if I can do it in 1 year, what's stopping you from 1 year becoming a true adult? From that transition of the time skip, I think it was phenomenally done. And I think Shihiro's father, the swordsman, the guy that created the swords and all that, I think that the blacksmith, he is a fascinating character because he is the reason Chihiro exists. And Chihiro exists solely because of his father. And he's such a great father that he created the code. He created our Chihiro. And even though he's only there for that chapter and we don't know what happens later to him, we do know that we do get a 100 chapter backstory as well as a spin-off manga of the father and his adventures. And you end up finding out that, the father had a big war with his uncle because he was trying to become the greatest swordsman, and his uncle was that. And so he had to defeat him to become the greatest swordsman, which he did do. But before, his uncle was saying, okay, you won, so eliminate me now. You win. And, Shihiro's father says, I'm not going to kill you because you're my uncle. And he lets him live. But we find out the tragedy that comes with it, which is that years later, Shihiro's dad passes away because his uncle stabbed him in the back during a big fight where, he says, protect Chihiro. And he says, I will. And while this is happening, he grabs Chihiro, knocks him out because Chihiro didn't want to let his father die. And, while Chihiro's knocked out, his uncle proceeds to stab Chihiro's father while he's distracted. And that is a tragic tale. Like, it's something that, it's something that it's a precautionary tale where, no matter how you trust so much, no matter how many friends and family you trust, they might turn behind you and, stab you in the back, figuratively and literally, in Chihiro's father's case. And I think that the way it was executed, the paneling, the art style, the dialogue, everything was exceptional. And I think that it really elevated Chihiro to the man that he is today, because if it wasn't for his father's death and later, the reveal of his uncle killing him, we wouldn't get here. And the reveal as well of Chihiro when his twin brother was born alongside him, his father, he made it very, very important that his uncle raised the brother. Hence why his brother's also evil, because the uncle taught him, like, hey, proceed to kill Chihiro, like, because you're the true Chihiro. There can only be one Chihiro, so you gotta eliminate the other one. And that's something that the uncle tells, and that's how we get to the 400 chapter fight. And that's something that we also get glimpses of during the evil Chihiro flashback that consists of 200 chapters. And I think that the uncle, he was such a prominent character that his popularity in the popularity polls was number one for that spinoff, that they had to make a spinoff of the uncle as well. And I know you're getting sick of, how many spinoffs, but that goes to show how popular Kagura Bachi was. I mean, if you keep continually put bangers, people are going to want more and more. And it eventually became the KBU, the Kagura Bachi universe. And I heard that they're making an anime. The Kagura Bachi anime hasn't been out yet, but from what people are saying, I think they're saying about the pacing is going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be by Studio Mappa as well as Ufotable and Madhouse. They're going to have a big collaboration between these three studios, and I think that we're really in for something, because they also announced that Flow is going to do the opening, as well as the voice actors are going to be some of the best amongst the BAs in Japan. And I think that everything's shaping up to be amazing. Now, as for the Kagura Bachi live action, I heard that rumors that Chris Pratt is going to play Chihiro, and as well as the evil brother of Chihiro is going to be played by Chris Pratt as well. But I think that was just a rumor. I don't think that ever got confirmed. Right now, what I'm hearing, though, is that Chihiro is gonna be played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and I think that's a better fit. Because Chihiro, even though he in appearance he doesn't look like The Rock, he has the presence of The Rock. And we do know that The Rock was Black Adam, and one of the techniques of Chihiro is his Black Adam cut. So it makes sense thematically why Dwayne Johnson was chosen specifically by the author. And if I remember correctly, I think Dwayne Johnson, he had an interview where he said that amongst all his roles, the one that he wanted the most in his entire career was to be Chihiro from Kagura Bachi, because he read the story and he was shook, and it actually paved the way for his character The Rock in the WWE. Because another big plot twist during the Kagura Bachi, that a lot of information has come forward because of these leaks. And one of the big things was that Kagura Bachi was created way past like in the 70s, because the author, his great grandpa, he wrote the story and then passed it on to generation and generation, and then eventually this author. Like every son, well, at first Kagura Bachi was only the first chapter was his grandfather, but then the son of the grandfather, he wrote a story, and it was the same as Kagura Bachi, and he added to it, and they added their mix to it. And apparently Dwayne Johnson's father, he gave him an issue because he was friends with the author of Kagura Bachi, the great grandpa, and he was friends with him, and Dwayne Johnson's father was friends with him, and that's how we got to where we at now, where The Rock went to the studio heads and was like, I want to be Chihiro. I need to be Chihiro. I need this franchise. And from what I understand, I think they're calling it the Kagura Bachi Cinematic Universe. And I know that Kevin Feige, the main head of the MCU in Marvel, he said that they're not going to release any movies. Like, anytime that Kagura Bachi shows up, they're not going to release a movie within 4 months from where a Kagura Bachi movie got released, because they know they're going to flop. And I think that's something that, it comes with the territory. You had your time. The cinematic universe of Marvel has been going downhill for a while now, and I think that they know that Kagura Bachi is the new MCU. And unlike the MCU, I think it's going to only get better and better, because the arcs in Kagura Bachi get better and better. Because the first arc of Kagura Bachi, it's a 10 out of 10. And once we get to the evil Kagura Bachi and the main Kagura Bachi fight, that's like a 700 out of 10. Because everything was exceptional. And I cannot stop emphasizing that 200 chapter flashback, that was the same flashback for those 200 chapters, was very essential for us to get it through our psyche that the evil Chihiro really is the greatest villain of all time. And I think that it was very important for us to digest that flashback constantly. It's like eating your vegetables. At first you're like, I don't know how to feel about this. But then once you eat them, you're like, your body appreciates you, and, you get healthy out of it. Same thing, we're working out, stuff like that. And I think that those 200 chapters were exceptional. Now, going forward, who's going to play the evil Chihiro? Like I said, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is going to play the main Chihiro, but he said, I'm not going to play the villain one because I don't play villains. So, if I remember correctly, I think the villain that got chosen to play the evil Chihiro was Leonardo DiCaprio, because he said, I love playing villains and I want to be the villain, even though they gotta be twins. That I believe they wrote it in, so they're gonna CGI Leonardo DiCaprio's face to look like Dwayne the Rock Johnson's, as well his whole body. He's gonna wear a green screen outfit, so he's not the Leonardo DiCaprio is gonna be acting behind the scenes as the Dwayne Johnson double copycat, but that's why Dwayne the Rock Johnson couldn't put himself in that scenario where, like, I can't play a villain. And that's how we got Leonardo DiCaprio, which is amazing because he's an Oscar-winning actor and also a big fan of Kagura Bachi. So much that, if I remember correctly, he took a date of his to the cinema, to a movie theater, booked it all, and he proceeded to show a early screening of the first episode of Kagura Bachi. In every single screen of that AMC, he had it playing. And it was so loud that even in the concession stands, the TV screens that they show where what the menu items are, no, they were playing that movie too, because he booked the whole AMC. He had posters everywhere, and the date, they eventually, I believe, that became his fiance, and then so forward to wife. And I think it all worked fine for him. And I think that he went out of his way to say that Chihiro was more of an influence on his life than anybody else. And I think it shows, because Chihiro did change Leonardo DiCaprio's life for the better. He became a better individual, a better man, And I think it comes with the territory. Like I said, you read and you become you. He said he method acted himself to a marriage. We thought it was funny because if Chihiro does marry his high school sweetheart, and that's similar to Leonardo DiCaprio. He marries a girl that just graduated from high school, and that becomes his wife. She was 18, similar but different context. This is Leonardo DiCaprio dating a high schooler and then marrying them, unlike Chihiro, but he still lived up to Chihiro, where he said once they become legal, because Leo, he likes them young, so he waited and married them once they were legal age. I think that Leo DiCaprio, it's something that he has come to terms with, that maybe people might look at him in the wrong way, but Leo says I'm in love with her and he marries her. And he might be like 70 at that time where the movie gets shot, but by then the wife will be who knows. But the point is, Chihiro will be Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Leo DiCaprio will play the evil Chihiro, and he marries his high school sweetheart that wasn't even born when he was in high school, but to him that doesn't matter, because that's his high school sweetheart, figuratively and literally, because she just graduated from high school. But yeah, that's his high school sweetheart for Leo DiCaprio, similar to Chihiro, but different context. Remember, it's always the context. Leo DiCaprio marries this high school sweetheart. But let's talk about who's going to direct it now. And now I heard that Christopher Nolan was originally offered to direct it, and he said that he didn't want to take it because it was too much of a burden. He didn't want to take this project and turn it into something that wouldn't live up to the hype. And I mean, it makes sense. When you get all this pressure and all these eyes looking at you. I mean, Christopher Nolan is not a stranger for any IP. I mean, The Dark Knight, phenomenal. And, he made Oppenheimer. But when it comes to taking such a big project as Kagura Bachi, where you're thinking about adapting 600 chapters right now and then 7,000 chapters in the future potentially, that's too much. And I think that he leaving the project was a smart decision. And who ended up taking over after Christopher Nolan was Steven Spielberg. And Spielberg said it himself, like, the only reason I'll take this project is if Nolan writes it. So Nolan's going to write the project alongside the mangaka, and Steven Spielberg is going to direct it. And I think that's a great pair up, because you need, when it comes to adapting Kagura Bachi into live action, you need something that three individuals that are on top of their game come together and help each other out, because it's a lot of stress, and Kagura Bachi is peak fiction itself. So we need to make sure that we get some of the greatest works, like professionals out there, to work on this. And you got to involve the mangaka, of course, which the mangaka is such a prevalent name in the manga industry that I don't even have to say his name, because you guys already know it. He is the guy that, the author of Vinland Saga straight up said during a Comic-Con convention, he stood up and said, Kagura, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. He said that inspired him to write the I Have No Enemies line. So if it wasn't for that early leak of Kagura Bachi where he says, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi, we would have never had the slave arc. And then, if I remember correctly, I think that in a transcript of Miura in one of his early scripts, I think he noted that, the Golden Age arc was based off the evil Chihiro versus the Chihiro fight, because that fight transpired for 400 chapters. And, those early leaks, the early leaks were essential to that conception of the story. And it shows, like I said. Now, going forward past all this, let's talk about the Americanized live action, not the live action movie with Dwayne The Rock, but the Netflix series of Kagura Bachi. Now, there's a bunch of controversy regarding it, because Kagura Bachi, the Netflix live action that got casted, it was Chris Pratt, the guy that got rejected for the rumors that were for the live action. He was going to play Chihiro. Those weren't rumors. They were kind of right, because he is playing him, but not in the live action movie. Instead, in the live action Netflix series, which his twin brother was then casted by Danny DeVito, because Danny DeVito said, I want to play this before I pass away, and he did. And I think that the live action Netflix was phenomenal. It was, you can look at the Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, all those rating sites, it was a 10 out of 10, big success. So this movie that's going to come forward, it has a lot of pressure now. Nolan, Spielberg, they got to be on top of their game, because if the Netflix adaptation was able to be a 10 out of 10, that means that the movie has to live up to that hype as well. And I think it definitely will, because, if you look at the source material of Kagura Bachi, that source material is, exceptional. The sequence where Chihiro slices all the Yakuza, that's one of the greatest action scenes. I wouldn't even say one of the greatest. I would go as far as to say as it is the single greatest action sequence in all of anime, manga, comics, books, movies, TV shows, animated films, any fiction. That fight scene where Chihiro just slices the Yakuza in those couple of panels, that's something that sticks with you, because it really showed the realism in, a guy just slicing about 12 Yakuza members in one fell swoop. That's very realistic. I mean, I think that, and also it was a metaphor in the sense of, we humans always get emotionally stabbed by one another. So we got to move forward and perceive ourselves to be better by not lifting katanas, as Chihiro says, like, scum like yourself shouldn't be wielding katanas. And I think that those katanas are our words. And I think that we gotta stop being so mean to each other, and stop being so negative, and move forward from that and become a true swordsman, as that line from Kagura Bachi, the future, the spin-off got leaked, where Kagura Bachi says, I have no swordsmen. Like, there can only be one swordsman, and we are all swordsmen. And I think we all are in our own way. Like I said, we carry our swords, which are our words. And, they can hurt people, but they can also save people. So it's something that very, very metaphorically, we gotta, live with it and understand that Chihiro is a character that transcends, biblical stories, because he, if I remember correctly, in the New Testament, the third one, because the Second Testament, I think in the third one they announced that Chihiro's tale will be told in the Testament, because it's something that really, if it came to a god, Chihiro would be probably his son. And Chihiro, he is the strongest being in the verse. So it would only make sense that in another spin-off called Chihiro versus God, God is defeated and Chihiro becomes the god of that world. So it's only fitting to say that in the next Bible, Chihiro is there in a story, as one of the followers, and then eventually the ruler of heaven, Now, while we're talking about Chihiro and his entire backstory, there's something I wanted to talk about, which is the big elephant in the room, is Chihiro's mom. Now, Chihiro's mom has one of the most tragic backstories that takes place in the prequel to Kagura Bachi, which is Kagura Bachi Pre, where we get a 1,000 chapter backstory of her life, which consists of every single thing she did from her life to her death, which is something I've never seen a mangaka do, where he proceeds to show her from the day she was born, and then we get to the day that she dies, and those 1,000 chapters. And each chapter, I believe, was 2,000 pages or something insane, but it needed to be, because every chapter was every frame of every second of her existence. And I think it was by the end of the day, when I think it might not have been 200 chapters. I think a single chapter was as big as a dictionary, but it was worth it. I mean, I think that the volumes were selling in the eBay for $7,000 a pop or something like that. It was something crazy, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can get money back, but stories and knowledge like that, no. I mean, especially because you couldn't even pirate it, because they put a rule that if you pirated Kagura Bachi Pre, you were gonna get fined $100,000, and I think that's people. Obviously, people didn't want to do that, so they didn't pirate it. But what ended up happening is we see the entire story of the mom, and the mom, you see her from when she was a baby till the day she dies, and the way she dies is she's in her early 20s, and the way she dies is that she was walking, and she, tragically got stabbed in the back also by the evil uncle that killed the father. And the reason he stabbed her in the back is because the uncle had a crush on the wife, but the wife left him. I'm sorry, I misspoke. The uncle had a crush on Chihiro's mom, But Chihiro's mom didn't have those same feelings. She had those feelings for Chihiro's father. Hence why he pretty much said, like, okay, like, I'm gonna plot for you to die. And what ended up happening was, while Chihiro's father was in a mission to, protect a village, some bandits sneaked up that they were seeking revenge on Chihiro's father, but Chihiro's father was not there. However, his uncle was. And the uncle saw them walk in, but he didn't do anything. And as, Chihiro's mom is walking towards the house, she gets stabbed in the back by the uncle, because the uncle realized that she was distracted by the bandits. And, Chihiro finds all this out, and that's how we get to, Chihiro's father and his whole spin-off story, where we explain his feelings after Chihiro's mom died. And I think it was very essential that we needed those 1,000 chapters of the mom for us to really be invested, because now she is a mother figure to all of us. And I think mothers out there that read the story, they themselves know how much of an influence the mother played in not just this, but in fiction. Because now, I think every mother out there is going to strive to be a mother like Chihiro's mom, because she made an influence and an impact unlike anybody I've ever seen in fiction. And I think that, as the story progresses, we'll definitely see more of her, because even though we already saw her whole story, literally frame to frame, every second, I think we need to re-see those frames, because, like I said, her story was that brilliant. And I think that the author's very good at reissuing shots and panels from previous chapters and, the spin-offs, that I wouldn't be surprised if we see the mom, once again, we see that flashback of those 1,000 chapters, just because it's that good. And to be honest, I don't think anybody would complain, because they would all know that this is truly peak fiction. But continuing on, I want to talk about Chihiro's older sister as well, because as you know, Chihiro had an evil twin brother, but he also has, now we find out in the recent chapters, that he has an evil sister. Now, before I talk about the evil sister, I'm gonna drink some water. Delicious. Now, while talking about the sister, Chihiro's sister, her story was pretty interesting and controversial, in the sense of, now his sister actually had a prequel, but never got published, so you had to read it online. But how this got all found out was the grandfather, the one that wrote Kagura Bachi originally. He had an outline for the sister of Chihiro, and this outline consisted of a 10,000 chapter. At first, it was going to be a mini series, but then he ended up saying, "No, I'm making 10,000 chapters," and those 10,000 chapters never got published, because back then, no publisher wanted to publish that. But now there's a dispute with the legal rights, and the only way you can really watch it is, read it online, pirate it and whatnot, and, illegal means. And because of that, I think that we'll never see the Kagura Bachi spin-off of the sister, but you can read it online if you want. But what we find out in those 10,000 chapters is that her entire life, the manga back then was taking the same approach as the mom, where he had to write all the single chapters. Every second was a panel in that story. And I believe that the sister ended up passing away when she was very young. I think only like 4. And no, I think it was even younger. I think it was a little older probably. I think when she was 10. But the point is, she passed away. And you know what? I think she was 4. But I think she passed away because, once again, the uncle, breaking shop, he was so mad that, the mom of Chihiro rejected him, that he just had to kill the whole family. And with the sister, it was the most tragic, because that's where originally he started with the stabbing in the back trend, where he got the little niece of his, she went to the forest. And she said, "Okay, can I get a piggyback ride?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he gets, she gets in his back, but then, he runs towards a tree, and there was a sword in there, and she stabs her with it like that. I know, very complex and convoluted, too complex and convoluted for some of you to understand, but the true genius of the storytelling was there. And I think even back then, like before KaguraBachi was published, I think the author knew that KaguraBachi was going to be something like a magnum opus, because there's nothing like it. Like Kentaro Miura, I think at one point he said that he wished he would have gone with the KaguraBachi story because he wanted to write to illustrate it. However, he was already preoccupied with Berserk at that point, so it made sense why he couldn't do it. But just imagine Kentaro Miura like illustrating KaguraBachi. It would have been good, but not as good as the author, because the KaguraBachi artwork is a 7,000 out of 10, similar to the chapter count that he wants, because it's that good. It's a once in a generation type of art style as well as storytelling, and I think that as we move forward in time, KaguraBachi will be remembered very fondly by all of us as, like I said, the greatest work of fiction. Because you gotta remember the sister, the uncle, the twin brothers in Chihiro, and the father, and just in the time skip, and every single spin-off of KaguraBachi, it's something new, and it never gets dull. Even when we get the 600 chapter and 10,000 chapter flashbacks, and when we get the necessary 200 chapter flashback of the villain, those are essential. So it doesn't really ever feel stale or boring. If anything, I wish I would have seen that flashback more. And like I said, it's embedded into my brain. Every single second I close my eyes, every single second I wink, every single second I fall asleep or think about something, I think constantly of those flashbacks. And I think that's something that it sticks with you as an individual, and it's something that will help you grow up and become a better human being going forward. Now, while we're talking about this, let's talk about the decisions that were made before KaguraBachi. Now, before KaguraBachi, the author, like I said, he was offered 1 billion yen to sell the rights for the IP, but he said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pass this for my kids and so forward. And that's how we got KaguraBachi now, because they themselves published it. And that's why, the early leaks say that Shonen Jump is going to be recalled KaguraBachi Jump, because they know that One Piece, they know that Hunter x Hunter, Chainsaw Man, all these very big series, Kaiju number 8, they don't sell like KaguraBachi. In the first chapter, KaguraBachi had 1 billion sales. Nothing comes even close to it. I think the most something like a One Piece can do is like 100K or 300K in the first week. That's nothing. That's literally less of a 1% for KaguraBachi. So if I remember correctly, like I said, I told you guys earlier, they're gonna keep reissuing that first chapter of KaguraBachi because they know that they don't need to do anything else. They know that they got peak in their hands, and I'm very excited to see once we do get those 7,000 chapters, how long it will be, because right now we're still in the chapter 1 arc, and chapter 1 arc is going to go on, from what I heard in those leaks, for 200 chapters in the story. And once that happens, that's when we're going to get the fight of the evil Chihiro and the main MC Chihiro. So I'm very curious to see how the manga adapts it in the main manga before it transfers to the spin-off, because we know that that's the plan. They're going to transfer that IP to the spin-off IP for more money and so forth. It makes sense. You can't really hate on it. Now, let me drink some water real quick. Now, if I remember correctly, I think it was George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, where he said that Darth Vader was originally inspired by Chihiro's evil brother, because in the early leaks he was also like with the early scripts, where his grandfather of the author currently, where he wrote the story, he found out that the evil Chihiro's, everything was planted and thought about even back then in the first manuscript, and he heard about it because he was trying to shop it around, and at one point George Lucas wanted to buy KaguraBachi and make a movie about it. And he rejected it. He said, no, I'm sorry, George, love Star Wars, but I can't do that because it's my family's legacy. And I think that's something that really defies something as peak, because they know that, Star Wars, big global phenomenon, peak fiction itself, but the author was that confident that, Kagura Bachi was going to be even something above and bigger than Star Wars ever has been. And it definitely shows. I mean, if you look at the pre-orders for all the Kagura Bachi merch, it's sold out in zero point 0.2 seconds. Though people are camping out of the stores, it was Kagura Bachi pandemonium. Like, it was similar to a Black Friday, but think about that every single day in Japan and worldwide. I mean, I think there was a limited store, a pop-up shop in America of Kagura Bachi, and that store sold out in the first 30 seconds. It was incredible. It was insane. And I'm sure that going forward, the publishers of Kagura Bachi will know, okay, we got to do this, because the other previous work didn't work. Like, everything sold out. We got to make sure that we mass produce this so everybody can be happy. Because now if you look online for the Kagura Bachi hoodies, you can see them for like $7,000. Some of them go as high as $300K, because it was that limited of a drop. And I think they definitely need to reissue them, because, the merchandise itself, it's something to really take under account on just how much peak fiction it is, because peak fiction is perfection. And I think that the merch also was perfection. And that's something that Kagura Bachi never disappoints with. It's merch. And I think once you narrow it all down, you got to think about, okay, animation is going to be peak fiction. Storytelling is peak fiction. Fighting sequences are peak fiction. Story arcs are peak fiction. The family and the characters are peak fiction. The author himself, his work, peak fiction. Like, once you narrow all this down, it really, it's not hard to tell that it's peak fiction. Like, it's something that is not complex it's something that two cavemen can figure out. They will look at it and just say, it's peak. Like, and I think that one thing I'm very curious to see is if I will be able to be alive when Kagura Bachi ends. Because I said, if 7,000 chapters, that will be the biggest tragedy and the biggest disappointment in my life if I'm not able to experience the final chapter of Kagura Bachi, because it's a series that shook me to my core in that one chapter, and all the spin-offs, because I read them all in preparation for this video, because I wanted to see the hype. And I definitely it definitely wasn't just hype. It was an emotional journey that nobody will ever replicate, and nobody will ever even be in the same level, because from a storytelling aspect, an emotional aspect, and a world building aspect, I think Kagura Bachi just excels. And it's not even funny. Like, you think of One Piece for the world building, right? Like, it's phenomenal and people say it's great, the best world building ever. But Kagura Bachi steps up in one chapter. It completely blows One Piece out of the water with the world building. And that's something that even where people that might in the comments like, no, there's no way. I mean, look at the spin-offs. Kagura Bachi, those 600 chapters of the flashback, they in the fight sequence of those 400 chapters of the fight of evil Chihiro versus the good Chihiro, those chapters show you, and they pave the picture of like, okay, this is the fight sequences, and this is the world building. You see in those 400 chapters, they literally fight in every inch of the earth. So you really get to explore all of the earth, as well as you get to see characters in the background and what the cultures are like. And everything is just perfect. As Homelander says, it was perfect. And Kagura Bachi, like I said, it lives in my heart. And it will continue to live in my heart for many years, because it's something that I can never let go. Like I said, Kagura Bachi, it's a one of a kind. And before I passed away, before my time comes years from now, I just wish that Kagura Bachi will be over, so I can, tell myself my life had a purpose, and that purpose was to finish all of Kagura Bachi and experience the end of this peak fiction story, unlike anything else. And when it comes to trying to think of something that I can put into words, because like I said, this is a magnum opus of storytelling. This is the one and only real peak fiction when it comes to Kagura Bachi. Like Kagura Bachi is a one of a kind that will be duplicated, and I'm just very skeptical in anything ever topping it, because once you get to this amount of peak fiction, like, it just makes anything else like disappointing. Like you show someone Kagura Bachi and then you show them Lord of the Rings, they're gonna be Lord of the Rings is trash. You show somebody Kagura Bachi and then Star Wars, they're gonna say Star Wars is trash. You show somebody Kagura Bachi, The Godfather, they're all gonna be trash. I can make a list and just name iconic movies, like The Godfather trilogy, 2001 Space Odyssey, The Shining, the Departed, The Taxi Driver, Django Unchained, Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Basterds. All these masterpieces that are movies, just they fell in comparison. They all fell to Kagura Bachi, because Kagura Bachi is just in that level. It's a level above anything else, and it's something that, like I said, I think our future generations will study, but they'll study in with nothing to be accomplished in the end, because Kagura Bachi will never be duplicated. They can make documentaries, they can write books, they can write all these things about Kagura Bachi, journalists, movie makers, and anything, but nothing will ever live up to the true essence of Kagura Bachi. I'm gonna drink some water. Whew. Okay. My voice is kind of giving up, but I cannot stop, because Kagura Bachi is peak fiction, and I gotta tough it out and just continue to explain to you guys why Kagura Bachi is peak fiction. Now, let's talk about the costumes in Kagura Bachi, because the designs are immaculate. They're exceptional, and I think they're some of the best, if not the single best, costume designing in all of fiction. Because you think of some designs like Guts in his Berserker armor. You think of something like, I don't know, like the Demon Slayer kimonos. You think of something like the cyberpunk outfits. You think something like Cowboy Bebop, Spike's outfit. And they all feel to comparison to, Chihiro. Chihiro keeps it simple: black trench coat, black pants, black belt, and it does the job. Like, so simplistic to the point that it's goated. And I think the main reason is because it's something that people can latch onto and realize, okay, this is something really that anybody can do. You don't gotta overthink the designs. The designs are there for you. And I think that that's something that we as individuals gotta realize, and take a step back and be like, okay, maybe fashion is something that we humans always overthink and overanalyze. Let's keep it simple. I think that was one of the metaphorical lessons that Kagura Bachi did, because after that, Prada, Louis Vuitton, all these fashion lines, they wanted to get a collab with Kagura Bachi, but the author was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't sell it, because you guys will not live up to the hype. The fashion shows, all that, couldn't live up to it. So he kept his word, and Kagura Bachi, he's to this day, he's the only one that licenses the merch, and he himself oversees it. And there's a reason he's a billionaire now. I believe never mind, he's not a billionaire, he's a trillionaire. And yeah, it shows that that the dude is a smart dude, and he knows how to make good stories. He knows how to be very precise with his money. And if I remember correct, I think they're in Japan. They're gonna create a theme park similar to like a Disneyland or something like that, where it's gonna be the Kagura Bachi Land. There you go. That's the name of it. And it's gonna be consisting of it's gonna be a big theme park station in Shibuya. The most busiest city in Japan. And we're gonna see this big theme park somewhere in Shibuya, and this theme park's gonna have like 700 attractions. It's gonna be huge. And a lot of, tourists are going to be obviously checking it out. I myself will, the day it drops. They already showed layouts, and they showed, like how many the designs. And I think some of the creators of Disneyland are going to work on it, but they wanted to work on it. But the author was like, nope, I'm going to be working it. I'm going to be engineering the machinery as well. Because he said, no, it has to be a certain way. So I only need myself and my intelligence and my thoughts, because I want to make this Kagura, can't even say the word. You see, that's how much, how distracted I am by just even imagining the Kagura Bachi land. And Kagura Bachi land is something that I'm very looking forward to. I think it's going to be released sometime along next year, because they are rushing the production, which a lot of people are complaining about, because they're like, yo, is this thing going to be like even safe? And the author confirmed that, yeah, it's going to be safe. And I believe the author, because he wrote peak fiction, and I know that there's nothing else who else am I going to believe? An engineer that went to school for many years? Or am I going to believe the greatest single mastermind in peak fiction? The guy that wrote the one and only Kagura Bachi and the spin-offs. I'm obviously going to go for him. And yeah, I think that, he's going to do a phenomenal job, and I can't wait to see Kagura Bachi. Now I'm going to drink some water real quick because my voice is giving up. Ooh. Yeah, okay. My voice. It ripped my voice. The pain I go for Kagura Bachi. This will be truly will pay off, because Kagura Bachi is something that will stick with my soul, whether I want it or not, for the rest of my life. And I'm glad, because Kagura Bachi is the series that changed my life. And if I can do anything to, make people realize the genius behind Kagura Bachi, then I'm more than happy to do so, because Kagura Bachi changed my life. It changed me to a better person, and I hope that it does the same for you guys, with the lessons and the beautiful themes that the show touches, both physically, literally, and metaphysically, because it literally transcends fiction itself. There's some things I can't even explain, because they're not capable for understanding in the human brain. They're just so deep. And I think that the one thing that Kagura Bachi will be going forward will be the rise in storytelling. However, I don't think stories will ever live up to Kagura Bachi, because Kagura Bachi will be a story that lives on, not only in my heart, but in many people's hearts. I think it's a story that will transcend time itself. Like I said, I think that, aliens or the next evolution of humankind will, learn these stories about Kagura Bachi and, adapt into their societies and, spread the messages and create a better society and better living conditions. And it will cure anything. I think, if I remember correctly, I think the guy that, one of the scientists that is trying to, stop all the diseases in the world, he said that he's inspired now because of Kagura Bachi, to give it his, 1000%, because he said the line of him saying, you get the Kagura, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. That's like a metaphor for himself that he related to, because he said, you keep messing with us doctors and we'll heal these diseases eventually. And I think that, that's something that it's very, very deep in a both metaphysical and, metaphorical regard. Because, that's the great thing about Kagura Bachi. It's a story that people can watch and appreciate, whether they're 1 year old or they're a 75-year-old. It's a story as old as time. It's a story that any person can relate to. And I think that Chihiro is an MC that many people will say is their Lord and Savior, because he's the one that came in there and saved them from themselves, because he made them realize that we all got to become better. And Chihiro saying that, drop your katana, scum like yourself should not be able to, hold katanas. That's something that really hit me in my heart. It really touched me in a sense that I will never be able to, forget. And talking about all of this, let's talk about the Kagura Bachi game that will be for the Switch, the PS5, and the Xbox. Now, there was a whole controversy because at first it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. But eventually, the author himself said, no, let's not do that because I want the greatness of Kagura Bachi to be spread out for all of society, anybody, PC. He went super unconventional when he went on record and he showed all the consoles that will play, Kagura Bachi, the game. And those consoles, I'm about to list them. It was the Atari, it was the Dreamcast, the GameCube, the NES, the SNES, the PSP, the PS1, the PS2, the PS Vita, PS3, PS4, PS5. And as for the Xbox, it was all the Xbox products. And for the PC, everything as well. The Steam Deck as well. For Nintendo, it was the Game Boy, the DS, the 3DS, all of that. All Nintendo products. And it even, like I said, it was the Dreamcast and all of the Sega products, Atari products as well. Because he really wants all, the Wii, he wants all audiences to experience Kagura Bachi in the gameplay. Because apparently the gameplay will be something that transcends gaming itself. In the sense that you can play it in any single console. And every single console will have a different version of the game that allows you to use motion controls or, play it regularly. But it's something that you never would think a series would do. That's something so bold and crazy. Just having everything in every console ever made. But Kagura Bachi was the one game that did that. And he said, you know what, I gotta do that. And it was produced by, Rockstar and Santa Monica Studios, the creators of the GTA franchise, as well as the God of War reboot and Ragnarok. And I think that those two main heads, alongside, the author himself writing the script for the game, really paid off in the sense that, the early reviews from the leaks, they showed that the people that played it, they gave it a 2,000 out of 10. And these are, critics. They're supposed to be very harsh and they're supposed to analyze anything. But they went as far as to say, no, it's a 2,000 out of 10. And you've never seen that. I think it's the first single review in a game that's ever gotten that high. Now let me drink some water real quick. Oh, okay. My voice. My voice is dying, guys. You guys better like this shit out of this video. You guys better fucking comment on this video. You like this video, share this video, subscribe to this video. You guys better fucking do it. Because this voice is killing me, goddamn. I don't even know how much battery I got. Oh my god. Okay, we're an hour and 20 minutes. So let's keep going. Okay. Alright, so back to the regular schedule programming. So Kagura Bachi also had an audiobook. Now this audiobook is very controversial because it's an early leak of all the Kagura Bachi, stories. The leaks, everything like that. The book consists of is the author himself agreed to let the leaks happen as long as he gets to narrate this thing. So you get to hear, all of this, all the Kagura Bachi lore in that audiobook. However, there's no file in existence that has that much, video capabilities. So instead, they had to release it in bits and pieces in YouTube. And, some videos were as big as 20 hours, but, that's only video one. And they had a whole 900 chapter breakdown where they would, combine everything together in these 20-hour compilations. And personally, I didn't have enough time to watch them. But I know that the author, after the fact, he said that he will never speak again because how much the toll it took on his voice to be able to narrate this story from beginning to end, all these stories. And Kagura Bachi, it's a story that we know it's definitely long, but it's phenomenal. And the dude said there can only be one voice that reads it in an audiobook. It has to be my voice, me as the author. And the craziest part was that, he actually learned every single language in existence just so anybody can read it. And that's something that really I cannot commend this guy enough, because that's something I would never expect somebody to do. Master all languages. I don't think there's anybody in existence actually that does that besides him. And, he pushed himself to the limits of humanity and what a human can do. And it shows because, he now has mastered all languages in our society. And I can't wait to see, and hear. I mean, I only heard bits and pieces of it because people were leaking it, because the official release is until 2024. But, early leaks, people posting it on YouTube. But yeah, I really want to hear the Spanish dub, the Portuguese dub, the English dub, the Japanese dub, all of these, because, the dude really mastered all that. Like, that's insane. Now, while we're talking about that, let's talk about the color pages of Kagura Bachi. The main cover page, the one that was shown in Shonen Jump, where they were promoting that actually went to the National Museum of Japan, as well as every other museum in existence, because they decided to make it so anytime you think of art, if you go to the Urban Dictionary, when you look at peak fiction art as well as art, not just peak fiction, also art, you will see in the nouns, Kagura Bachi. So whenever you think of something as peak fiction, it's Kagura Bachi. Kagura Bachi is that a peak fiction piece of work that just transcends, all mediums of fiction and all people in existence. And I think that even when it comes to professionals, they know that. And I really appreciate that the author himself went to all the museums and took pictures there. And he's very open and very vocal in social media, and he's very happy about all the success of Kagura Bachi. And I wouldn't be surprised if, Kagura Bachi, like I said, Kagura Bachi eventually gets his own museum where it gets spread around the world, where they open different Kagura Bachi museums, and they just have panels of Kagura Bachi everywhere. Kagura Bachi merch, Kagura Bachi, spreadsheets, Kagura Bachi, panel posters. Because that Kagura Bachi is a piece of art unlike anything I've ever seen. And I can't explain it other than it's just absolute peak fiction. And I'm very, very happy that I managed to live in a society where, I was able to read Kagura Bachi. And because imagine if I was born in 1800s, I would never have caught up with Kagura Bachi, and that would have been the biggest mistake of my entire existence. Because something like this is something that everybody should, experience. And I think that Kagura Bachi definitely was worthy of, getting such treatment, in the sense of, you finally get to see a true genius at work with the storytelling, the drawings, the art style. Everything is Kagura Bachi. And even in the popular zeitgeist, I think that, in pop media right now, Kagura Bachi is the number one thing trending on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere in the internet. Nobody can stop talking about Kagura Bachi. I think the whole internet crashed actually the day that Kagura Bachi got released. But from an early leak, I saw that somebody, they said they didn't want to break the news. The Japanese government didn't want to make it so like a big controversy, so they made it so nobody would find out that Kagura Bachi actually broke the internet. And that's why if your internet was slow on that day, it's because Kagura Bachi came out. And yeah, Kagura Bachi, I think it's peak because when it comes to the fight sequences, they're some of the best. No, I wouldn't even say some of the best. They are the best, because the fight sequences never feel slow. They always feel very, very fast-paced, very action-packed. Even when they're being repeated over and over again, even when the panels are literally copy and pasted, like over and over, they still have that power and that intensity that it's in every single cell in that spreadsheet is peak fiction of Kagura Bachi. Kagura Bachi is just that great. And I think that Kagura Bachi will move forward. I mean, I think that people have named their kids now Shihiro, and I think that's actually the most popular name of 2023. I think somebody already made a post and a poll about it, because apparently in this year there was like a billion babies born, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think 800 billion, no 800, I'm sorry, 800 million babies were actually Shihiro. They were named Shihiro. So who knows? Maybe give it a couple more years, guys, and I think the whole earth will be just Shihiros everywhere. And I think that would be amazing, because everybody being identified as Shihiro should be a compliment and the highest, honor for anybody to be able to bear the same name as the GOAT himself, Shihiro. And now, while talking about Shihiro, let's talk about Shihiro's girlfriend, because what we find out in the story is that Shihiro meets his girlfriend because his girlfriend was originally an assassin sent by his uncle to kill Shihiro. The same evil uncle that killed Shihiro's sister, mother, and father, and set up his evil brother to fight Shihiro. Yeah, he set up an assassin to kill Shihiro, and that assassin eventually gets defeated by Shihiro with ease. And what we find out, it was this beautiful female, and Shihiro, she tells Shihiro, like, I love you. Like, from the get-go, she knows how much of a great, kind-hearted person Shihiro is. And while this is happening, you see that Shihiro's like, no, like, I can't, because I don't know you like that. So then we get a 700 chapter, arc where the two of them really get to, invest on each other, in a spin-off. It was called like Kagura Bachi Love or something like that. It was a spin-off about how they came to be girlfriend and boyfriend. And in that 700 chapter spin-off, we see that, we see the entire story on how they became, boyfriend and girlfriend, and eventually married each other. But the tragedy that comes with it was so sad. And it was something that shook me, like, to my core and gave me goosebumps. Just talking about it, I got goosebumps, guys. Like, when she dies. And the way that she dies, it was so, like, shocking. Like, pay attention if you haven't heard this. The one that killed Shihiro's girlfriend was his uncle. Once again strikes. His uncle has killed his mother, his father, his sister, and now his wife. The uncle, and this goes to show how good the evil Shihiro is. Because if the uncle is this much of a villain, evil Shihiro is, way above him. And I think that goes to show, like, because eventually the evil Shihiro kills the uncle. And he delivers the line that his twin brother, has been delivering constantly in the manga, which is the line of, scum like yourself should not be wielding katanas. When the evil Shihiro says that, it's like, whoa, the character growth. And that goes to show that this character has layers. He's not one-dimensional. Like, and, it was a very fitting end to the uncle, The same uncle that killed all of Shihiro's loved ones gets cut, he gets defeated and cut by his own apprentice. And I thought that was very beautiful and very well executed. And I can't wait for when the anime animates that, because I want to hear that voice acted. But yeah, back to the girlfriend though. The girlfriend, we find out that Shihiro's girlfriend / wife, because they do married, we find out that they had a kid, and the kid's name was Shihiro as well. But instead of a capital O or a lowercase o in the end of their name, they gave an apostrophe in Shihiro's the young Shihiro's name. So he was called Shihiro, but then later on it was retconned that his name wasn't actually that. It was just called Shihiro Jr. So to keep it, from going forward, I'll just call him Shihiro Jr. And the tragedy of Shihiro Jr. was so tragic, because we find out that after the mom died, Shihiro Jr., he went to the playground and was playing with his friends. But then eventually he was attacked by, you guessed it, Shihiro's uncle. Shihiro's uncle took out his blade and he killed the little Shihiro Jr. That, guys, that was the top 10. That is the saddest death in all of anime. You know, because the Chihiro Jr., he was only a 3-year-old. He had his whole life ahead of him, and then the uncle came in there and just committed the most sanest act, the most vicious and malicious deed by stabbing him in the back, just like he did with the Chihiro's Junior's mom, and Chihiro's Junior's grandfather and grandma, as well as his aunt. All of them got the same fate because of that evil uncle. And the evil uncle, he just laughed and he said, the iconic line. And it was so even more tragic because he was mocking him. He said, you mess with a Kagura, you get the Bachi. And that's what Chihiro Jr. heard before he passed away, as his lifeless body laid there, only to be discovered by Chihiro. And, it was tragic. It was just sad. Because Chihiro Jr., to me, is as well as one of my favorite characters in the story. He only had like 300 chapters of screen time. He only had 300 chapters of screen time, but he really, only in those 300 chapters he got, even though it's barely any screen time, he was almost in every single page of those 300 chapters. And I know it sounds crazy to say that, I wish I had more. I wish I would have got 1,000 chapters of, Chihiro Jr. and just witness my man grow to the man that he is, like his father. But tragically, he got, killed before he ever had the chance. And it was so tragic. And I'm sorry, guys. Chihiro Jr. Every time I think about it, I'm like haunted. I have nightmares. That Tom Holland meme, like anywhere I go, I see him. And he sees Iron Man. Like in Spider-Man, the Spider-Man meme was like, anywhere I go, I see him. And it's like Iron Man after he died. That's me with Chihiro Jr. Anytime I see a kid, I'm like, that's Chihiro Jr. It's sad, the life they could have had. And apparently the reason the author wrote that is because he knew that, Chihiro Jr. had to die to make it so Chihiro himself, the proper Chihiro, overcomes all the struggles. And he does overcome all the struggles because he proves that he's the GOAT as the story goes on. The one and only true GOAT, the Black Swordsman, the true Black Swordsman. Because unlike characters like Guts or Thorfinn, Chihiro, he could have stopped everything. Chihiro could have stopped the eclipse. If Chihiro was in the eclipse, he would have defeated the God Hand and Griffith. And that's something that Guts never did. So automatically, Chihiro was better than Guts. Same thing with Thorfinn. If Chihiro was there, Thor wouldn't have been killed. And, then Thorfinn would have been safe and yada, yada, yada. The point is, Chihiro, best MC. Not even a contest. Chihiro is the single greatest protagonist in all of fiction. And if you haven't been convinced at the 1 minute at the 1 hour and 38 second and 30 at the 1 hour 38 minute and 40 second mark, if you haven't been convinced about Chihiro being the greatest MC in all of fiction, then I don't know what to tell you, because Chihiro's story will live on and you're going to be left behind in the dust. While everybody's experiencing peak, you're going to be experiencing mid. You're going to be experiencing trash. Because besides Kagura Bachi, it opened my eyes. And it made me realize, there's nothing else in this world living for but the ending of Kagura Bachi. And I know that Kagura Bachi will continue on after my death. And after everyone's death, the earth will be a wasteland. But Kagura Bachi will live on in our hearts at the end of the day, because Kagura Bachi will forever be the GOAT and the one and only shonen that transcends all time and space. And they will write documentaries about this. They will write newspapers about this, live actions about this, animes I believe there's like 7 spin-off animes in production of KaguraBachi. All of them are going to be made by, like I said, Studio Mappa, Ufotable, and Madhouse teaming up and creating like a big project. It's a big passion project, and I can't wait to see those. And just all of them are gonna win Anime of the Year. I think that it's gonna come to a point where they're gonna have to make like a different category for each. KaguraBachi. I think it's gonna be the most KaguraBachi anime of the year, or the KaguraBachi with the most bachi in of the year. Like, they're gonna make different categories because they're all gonna be equally right, and they're all gonna be equally as good. So figuring out which one is better than which one it's something nearly as an impossible feat, and I can't even try to decipher like what's gonna happen. Like, once we do get to the anime award season, because we also did get an announcement of the Kagura Bachi award season, which is going to be its own, award season where, each spin-off of the Kagura Bachi will get an award. And it will be in, I think the author himself was gifted the Nobel Peace Prize because of writing of Kagura Bachi. And I think that now that everything's, settled down, the hype has died down, I think that KaguraBachi, it's only the beginning, because, like I said, the hype, it died down a little bit, but then it came back. It only died for like 2 seconds, and then it came back because KaguraBachi people were like, it's overhyped. But then, they read that 400 chapter fight, and, that 200 chapter backstory of, everything being the same with the villain, and they got touched. Like, they got touched both emotionally, and metaphorically, where you realize that the same backstory was presented to us over and over again for 200 chapters straight. Yet for us it was new, and it was something unlike anything we've ever seen. And I think that KaguraBachi just will live on. And I'm gonna drink some water because my voice is dead. Oh, okay. You still there? Still watching? Good, because I'm fucking dying. Oh my god, my voice is fucking dead, bro. You better fucking like this shit if you watch. You better comment on this shit. You better share this shit. You better fucking subscribe, motherfuckers. Oh my god. This will live on for eternity, just like KaguraBachi will, guys. So make sure this gets 1 billion likes, so we can live on KaguraBachi's legacy. Okay. But continuing on, let's talk about the KaguraBachi's OST, because before the show, before the manga ever came out, people already had the KaguraBachi OSTs ready. That's how it goes to show the fan base was so deep in the KaguraBachi lore that we all united and said, yeah, we're gonna make this music alongside KaguraBachi. And if I remember correctly, I think the KaguraBachi music was actually bought by the creator. So all the fan projects that the creator owns, it's his own product now, and he made his own streaming site where you can share the music for free. Similar to like a Spotify, but only like actually free. You don't gotta do nothing like that, because he thought that everybody needs to hear this music while reading, KaguraBachi. And KaguraBachi, the music elevates it to another level. You think of some of the greatest OSTs in anime and manga, in anime, and you think of stuff like Bleach. You think of something like Code Geass. You think of something like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. You think of stuff like Naruto. You think of amazing stuff like Hunter x Hunter. You just, you keep naming amazing OSTs. And, they all fell short to KaguraBachi. Because KaguraBachi just, when you had an artist like Drake in your OST, you're automatically going to lose. And that was a big shocking thing when Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, A$AP Rocky, Doja Cat, Taylor Swift, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, uh, and Queen, the Arctic Monkeys, Paramore, Gorillaz, Peso Pluma, the Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny, BTS, and all these other artists were in the OST of Kagura Bachi. It was already you already knew every other anime ever lost automatically. You have that amount of artists working on a project. Yeah, KaguraBachi is gonna stand top and like be solidify why they're the GOAT, because KaguraBachi, there's nothing like it. When, like I said, you have all these artists come together and just form an album of an OST for your anime/manga, for you people can just read and listen to this in the background. That goes to show the amount of effort and passion behind the KaguraBachi fandom and the KaguraBachi hype. And I think that KaguraBachi will live on, and there'll be documentaries, like I said, how it all came to be and how it changed society for the better. Because I think it was a metaphor. Like, I think the story of KaguraBachi is a metaphor for humanity coming together and channeling all our intelligence and kindness for a better future. And I think that one of the shocking moments that we all found out was the KaguraBachi author was going to run for the UN. Like, he was going to be the supreme leader at the UN and oversee every country, because he knew that he knows what's best for everybody. At least I think so. And it was a very controversial moment where he got announced that he was running. And I think that he will win, because, when you have somebody that wrote KaguraBachi, I think it's automatically a game over. I think that you're doomed to fail, because you're never going to live up to the KaguraBachi hype. And yeah, I think KaguraBachi I think the author will definitely be the leader of the UN. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think he's also gonna be like the guy that runs all the public school like the school programs and stuff. And I think he's gonna make it so everybody every morning has to read chapter 1 of KaguraBachi, because he had a theory that eventually came true, that if everybody were to read KaguraBachi once a day, the first chapter, for before bed and after bed, like before going to bed and after and before going to bed and waking up, if you were to read a chapter both in the morning and late at night of KaguraBachi chapter 1, you automatically get like a 10-year expanded lifespan, which it's a study that many people question, but I know that he's telling the truth, because KaguraBachi cleanses your soul and makes you it makes you project and become a better human being. Like, it literally de-ages you. It makes you younger, both in physical and in a soul. It makes your soul younger. It makes your body younger. The mascara, anti-aging, the makeup creams and all that. Nah, take that all away. KaguraBachi, baby. And I think it was stated that he was gonna, if you were to consume the chapter of KaguraBachi both figuratively and literally, or you put it in your meals, like you shred the KaguraBachi chapter, like the pages, and you were to eat them, I think like I said, that's how you become like you get an increase in your lifespan, because you're digesting peak fiction. And like I said, something that a lot of people don't believe, but listen, the studies and the results are there. They're clear as day. If you fail to realize that, then that's on you. That's not on KaguraBachi's fault. That's not on the author's fault. That's on you. So eating, the KaguraBachi chapter 1, in a milkshake, a seasoning, that's something that is being proven to work. I mean, look, he signed a deal to have a KaguraBachi sauce all over the world. It's gonna be it's the second most popular condiment, like ketchup now is the second most popular, because KaguraBachi took over number one. You know, that's how iconic and how much of an influence KaguraBachi has had in its very short and limited lifespan. Which it's something that like I said, it's amazing. I would have never thought there would ever come a day where, you know, KaguraBachi became this big, because when I read it, I didn't think it was going to be that good, but then I read it and then it changed my mind, and it changed me to become a better person. And I can't believe that we're already at the 1 hour and 50-minute mark and my voice is still here. Like I said, you guys better fucking like this. Shit, the shit posting go that went real. Oh. But yeah, KaguraBachi. Now while we're talking about KaguraBachi, let's talk about the BR game. The KaguraBachi BR game. Which is so good that it's like a Sword Art Online. You actually get transferred in KaguraBachi, the story. Everything's black and white. And you're fighting these Yakuzas left and right. And you get to recite some of your favorite lines in the franchise. Like, you know, like similar to, you know, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. And, you know, the only scum like you should not be able to wield katanas. You get to role play that and live those experiences as is. And I think that, you know, being able to put yourselves in Chihiro's footsteps, it's something that helps you as an individual and to become the person you want to be. And it's no surprise why you got Game of the Year. I mean, not officially yet, but you know, the early leaks, like amongst everything else, if you see the early leaks, you will know that KaguraBachi already got, you know, announced to be Game of the Year. And it really shows, because I mean, there's nothing that compares to it. I mean, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, what? Nah, you're not KaguraBachi. Spider-Man 2 for the PS5, not KaguraBachi. Final Fantasy 16, not KaguraBachi. Baldur's Gate 3, not KaguraBachi. You see, like, once you narrow it down, I think there's no better video game ever made that can top KaguraBachi BR, because you're really invested and indulge in the world itself, literally. You know, games like Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, GTA San Andreas, you know, games like those, God of War Ragnarok, God of War, Red Dead 2, Red Dead 1, you know, the Fallout franchise, the Mass Effect franchise, you know, all these games that people say are some of the greatest of all time. They failed. Mario 64, Mario Odyssey, they failed to live up to the GOAT, KaguraBachi, because KaguraBachi BR is a game that, for me, personally, helped me be both a better, like, it helped me master the katana. Like, now I'm an expert swordsman, in the sense that I could probably defeat Guts and Zoro in a 2v1 fight, and it wouldn't be close, because, you know, I learned all of Chihiro's techniques thanks to the BR game. You know, I could lift the Dragon Slayer like nothing, because as we find out in one of the chapters, especially, well, it got announced in the game as promotional material that Chihiro's sword actually weighs 7,000 pounds, way more than Guts has ever weighed. You know, so he wields the heaviest sword. And, you know, I if I'm able to lift that, I think that I can definitely defeat Zoro and Guts, and Chihiro would wipe the floor with them. I mean, the fight would end in a blink my eyes. That's it. They get speed bleeds. They get, like, both of them get speed blitz, like, easily, because Chihiro is just that good of a swordsman, and he needs no more reintroductions, because Chihiro is the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy that, you know, will save us from all these mid and trash enemies like Vinland and Berserk and One Piece and Hunter x Hunter and Chainsaw Man. Like, these mediocre, run-of-the-mill generic series. They all fell in comparison to Kagura Bachi. I mean, when you think of peak fiction, you don't think of Berserk. You think of Kagura Bachi. You think of Chihiro, our main and Lord and Savior Chihiro. Not Guts, not Thorfinn, not Denji, not any of them. No. Yusuke Urameshi, who? No. You think of Chihiro, the myth, the man, the legend, the MC of Kagura Bachi. Okay? Stop playing around with my man's name. He is the GOAT. The one and only GOAT. You know, Kagura Bachi lives on in all of us. There's only one Kagura Bachi. There's only one Chihiro. And, you know, no matter how many times people want to replicate him. Because if you didn't know, every manga ever made, an anime, copy and paste. Mediocre copy and paste of, you know, the epicness of Kagura Bachi. Because like I told you earlier in the video, the grandfather had been reading this story for decades. So stories like Naruto, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, My Hero, Black Clover, Chainsaw Man, they all were inspired by Kagura Bachi. Dragon Ball Z, Akira Toriyama recently made a statement that got leaked that Super Saiyan was based off Kagura Bachi and the evil Kagura Bachi spin-off where the twin brother gets a power-up. All of that was inspired because of Kagura Bachi. And it shows because, like I said, all of them are mediocre compared to the true masterpiece of Chihiro's story. And nothing encapsulates that more than that first chapter where, you know, he slices the Yakuza and just proceeds to show everybody why he's the man, why he's the GOAT. You know, he really makes it so we all, you know, look to ourselves in the mirror and tell ourselves, no matter how hard we try, we'll never be Chihiro, but we can darn try to be. Because Chihiro is the GOAT. Not Thorfinn, not Guts, not anybody. You know, Chihiro is the GOAT. Nobody even comes close. It's not even a competition, guys. Stop playing with my man's name. Chihiro is the Lord and Savior of the Kagura Bachi. Is the Lord and Savior. You know, the Kagura Bachi land. You know, that's going to be premiering in Japan. All of this is what Kagura Bachi is all about. You know, Morbius, the movie that at one point was the greatest, highest selling movie of all time in the box office with $3 billion. Kagura Bachi already overtook that. With an early screening of the Kagura Bachi live action with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It did $3 billion in an early screening. Just wait till the actual release. What will it be? You know, 700 billion? Who knows? A one-day early screening garnered $3 billion. My bad. It was $4 billion. It beat Morbius and defeated and dethroned the greatest movie ever made in Morbius. You know, and I think that, you know, when Chihiro looks to us at the audience and says, you know, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. I think that will live on in infamy, and, you know, it will have a goated status for him, you know, being like in that same level as Morbius, the living vampire, when he's like, it's Morbin time. I think that's an iconic line. Both of them are iconic, but I think the Chihiro's line was even more iconic because it really, really made it to another level where storytelling had never been told before and reached heights that have never been reached. You know, Tatsuki Fujimoto, the author of Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch, Goodbye Eri, and many more one-shot stories. He himself says that his favorite author of all time is the Kagura Bachi author. And I mean, it shows. Look at all his works. They're all just copy and poor man's imitations of Kagura Bachi, because nothing comes even close to the greatness that is Kagura Bachi. And I think that Tatsuki Fujimoto knows that, and he knows that he would be a hack if it wasn't for Kagura Bachi's author. Okay, we're at the 2-hour mark. I'll drink some water. Oh no, I finished it. Oh man. My boys. Alright, Kagura Bachi. Okay. I can keep it going, guys. Let me check how much battery time I got. No, I don't want to risk. What if it cuts off? I won't do it. I'll go in blindly. Once I see that little 20% thing, that's when I'll get an estimate of how much time there is. But no, I can't do it. We gotta continue talking about Kagura Bachi to the end of time. Which, aka, that means till my iPhone dies. That's fully charged. Not anymore fully charged because it's been 2 hours of video. But we shall see how far it can take us with this Kagura Bachi breakdown and why it's peak fiction. And can't state this enough. You motherfuckers better like this video. You motherfuckers better subscribe to this shit. My pain and suffering for you guys. My 100th video special. All for y'all. The Kagura Bachi special. That's right. Alright. Well, let me. Oh, my voice. Okay, let me. God damn, I'm fucking tired. But I gotta push through. Because Kagura Bachi, each hero would never give up. I can't give up neither. Because I gotta be like Kagura Bachi. I cannot stop Kagura Bachiing. And okay, I think I'm in a good space of mind to I can continue. I might, my voice might give up. My voice might be destroyed permanently, but it's all worth it for the Kagura Bachi lore and explanation of why it's the greatest piece of work to ever be conceived in media going forward, because enough time has passed. So now we know it's Kagura Bachi time. So let me stretch. How are you guys doing? Are you guys eating something? You guys resting? That must be nice. But you should be doing those, reading Kagura Bachi. Oh man, I'm tired. 2 hours of sitting and talking about Kagura Bachi. You see, originally I thought this video was gonna my battery was gonna die soon. I didn't expect iPhones to, when you're shooting in cinematic mode, to last this long. But props to, especially when they're connected to a microphone and powering said microphone. I didn't expect it to last this long, but I stand corrected. So now that's why we're still Kagura Bachiing. If you're enjoying the show, just like I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe, please. I'm doing this for y'all, for y'all, for the masses. Please subscribe, show some love. Comment down below. What was the most emotional Kagura Bachi moment? What was your favorite Kagura Bachi moment in the story? As well as, just comment down below. What was the most shocking or most emotional, most incredible Kagura Bachi moment in the story, and how did it change you? Just let me know in the comments. How did Kagura Bachi change your life? Because it definitely has changed mine. For better or for worse. Alright, continuing on. My boys. I'm still trying to get some rest, guys. Hey, listen, try talking for 2 hours straight. Oh man. Sitting like this for 2 hours. I don't know how people can do it. I don't know how teachers can do that. What they do. Because all they do is talk. And I'm giving you guys a seminar of Kagura Bachi. So, mad props to the teachers out there. They can do this. I don't know how they can do it every single day. They can just talk nonstop and explain why things work a certain way. I'm trying to do that for 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 53 seconds. And my voice is tired. I am tired, both physically, mentally. But I gotta push through. Because the name of the video, I cannot stop till my iPhone dies. It's a challenge I brought upon myself. Because I know that what would Chihiro do in this moment? He would not complain. He would strive to become and overcome all these struggles. The biggest question is, how long will this last? I don't know. I'm gonna shoot this till this shit fucking dies. But yeah, that will be the end of the Kagura Bachi. When I Kagura Bachi too hard. I don't know if you can. Like, I'm too scared to like check my iPhone, because if it stops recording, I'll be like, oh, why you stop recording? Okay, let me. No, I think it will stop recording. No, I don't want to try it. Once it gets to the 20-second thing. Okay. I think. I don't know. What do you guys think I should do? I said I'm going to record this till it dies, but my question is now, once it dies, will it press the record? Or will it die? I should have probably tested that beforehand, huh? I mean, hopefully. I mean, if not, this was all a waste. And if you're watching this, you're not watching this because I'm not redoing this. It's a one take. It's the only time you'll see me in my channel talk about Kagura Bachi. Because it's that peak. Like, I don't even have to explain it. But if my voice truly gives out, I will attempt to do sign language and just talk about Kagura Bachi in that way. But you know, that's the game we play. And here in the Kagura Bachi lands, we don't stop. We continue and we strive. But like, I can't stress this enough. I don't know how long this will last. That's the biggest question. I want to know how long this truly will last. Because I don't know the battery, like how much battery it takes for a video to just constantly, if you're playing it constantly nonstop, for your iPhone to die. Especially when it's being powered by a microphone. So I don't know if that adds any more power to it. Because this microphone, it's attached to a whole cable, and yeah, it's attached to my iPhone. But the point is, I don't know how much that lasts. So, but you know, that's something I'll check. You know, I'll see. Because right now I'm struggling. This is definitely not what I was expecting. I'm very glad, because this has been an experience. I've been enlightened. Like Satoru Gojo himself said, the enlightened one. I think, you know, Chihiro definitely is the enlightened one, because, you know, I'm only suffering right now, but Chihiro has suffered his entire life. You know, with the constant fights and his evil uncle that killed his entire family and loved ones. I think Chihiro has suffered more than I ever have. And I think that's something that, you know, we will look back in our history books and admire, you know, just Chihiro, his greatness, and everything that he strived to become. And I can't wait to see, you know, everything going forward on it, because my man is the true definition of peak fiction in every sense of the word. And I cannot stop talking about Chihiro. Chihiro will forever be my Lord and Savior. And I cannot stop talking about this darn swordsman. Man. I mean, I Kagura Bachi too hard. That's what happened, guys. When you Kagura Bachi too hard, you gotta, you know, continue streaming. I don't know how people can stream for days and just talk throughout it all. My voice gives up. I haven't even refilled my water, which is something I'll do right now. Okay, let me refill my water real quick, guys. Then we'll be back to, this is my little like intermission. So if you made it to the 2-hour mark, you guys are awesome. And I love you guys. You heard that was the water being poured. Okay. Don't worry, guys. Like my little 10-minute intermission, it's almost up. Let me just put this back where it was. Okay, I'm trying to put this water thing. Alright, we're back in business. Okay, we're back in business. Cool. Okay, let me drink some water. Oh my god. Feels like, when you seen those movies where like the guy's in the desert, like he hasn't drank water in 3 days. That's me right now with this. My throat, oh my goodness. That was super dry. Oh, my Kagura Bachi. Okay. Well, it seems like we're doing good. Okay, let me just try to get my psyche. My mental well-being is in shambles right now, as you all can see. I can't even explain it. This has been an experience, all right. Unlike anything similar to when I read Kagura Bachi Chapter 1. That was an experience I will never forget, and me shooting this video will be an experience I never forget either. And you guys should be happy about it, because after this, you guys will not be ready for what's to come with the GOAT, the iconic Kagura Bachi. Oh man, this is crazy. I don't know how people can do this. I don't know how Twitch streamers can do this. I don't know how people can just talk to the camera for hours and hours and props for y'all, not hating, just saying. You guys are insane. My voice is at its limit. But I gotta keep pushing forward. I gotta keep pushing forward. I gotta keep explaining why KaguraBachi is the single greatest piece of work ever made. Which it is. Which I think that you guys don't need any explanation regarding it, because it should be given that KaguraBachi is the GOAT. Nothing comes even close to it. Why? Because KaguraBachi is that good. Always has been. It will continue to be good. It will continue to absolutely just break records and be the absolute monster of a behemoth that it is, because it constantly shows us what character development is like. Where Chihiro, we see his flashback, those 200 chapters. You needed those 200 chapters for the flashback. You can't beat around the bush about it. Now, while talking about KaguraBachi, we gotta talk about, KaguraBachi's. I talked about his mom. I talked about his father, his older sister, his wife, and Kagura, and Chihiro's son, Chihiro Jr. I talked about all of them. I failed to talk about Chihiro's aunt. And Chihiro's aunt is a wonderful peak fiction character, because she was written so well that she had her, stop if you heard this already. She had her own spin-off consisting of, her life. And this spin-off is actually it was surprisingly the shortest, because it was only 2 chapters, which a lot of people felt very shocked, because they were like, you have all these other, spin-offs where there's 700 chapters, 600 chapters, 400 chapters, 1,000 chapters. And then you get one with it's only 2. But, it really emphasized the aunt, because she was very memorable for that little amount of screen time she had. And the way that she passed away was also very tragic and sad, because, she was trying to defeat Chihiro's uncle in a sword duel, because she was trying to take the title of the world's greatest swordswoman, and she failed to do so. And while it was happening, the uncle said, "Stop, because I'll kill you. Like, because I don't want to kill you." And she was like, "No, you have to kill me. That's the only way I'll stop being the sword woman." And he proceeds to just tell, the uncle, like, "Listen, if you don't do it, I'll hide you for the rest of my life." And in a tragic sense, the uncle was, he felt obligated to kill his wife, and he did. And when he killed Shihiro's aunt, it was a very important moment, because that's when he lost his sanity. That's where he became the uncle that we all know, one of the greatest villains in all of fiction. And it was all because the death of his wife that he himself did. That was crazy. Like, I never expected, the uncle to have such a tragic tale such as that. And I think that anybody at that point that was reading, Kagura Bachi knew that we were really stored for something special, because what else can you compare to? Like, there's nothing. There's nothing I could compare that death, that emotions that I had when she passed away. Because the wife was such a brilliant character, and it was such a shame when she finally got taken out and defeated. And it's a moment that will stick with me for the rest of my life, because I never thought I would see or witness something as peak fiction as that. And I'm just very happy I was able to catch up to the manga at that point, because it was only 2 chapters, so I sped run it and I read it, and it was great. It really stuck with me in a emotional level, and I will forever cherish those emotions that I had when she passed away, because it was very shocking. A lot of people say that the Red Wedding is one of the most shocking moments in television history. When this gets animated, there's not even a contest. Her death will be all over the news. You'll see people mad that she died, which makes sense because she was such a good character, but it made sense for the story. She was such a good character, but her time came and went, Oh my god. Ooh. Oh, my eyes, bray. Oh, tired. This is the single craziest feat I've ever done. Yeah, this is the single craziest thing I've ever done. I can't believe I'm doing it. Hey, man. Kagura Bachi. That's why. I promise y'all that this will be a video to remember, and I should certainly live up to the hype, I hope, because this is the most, I like to think this is the biggest Kagura Bachi video in the entire website. So for the time being, it's an honor to be the longest video in YouTube regarding Kagura Bachi. And so this will be an honor. I'm glad I was the first to attempt to do such a thing, because for the next person that tries to beat this, you better have some throat gummies. You better have some medicine on standby. You have a stretcher, paramedics, because you might need them, brother. Because I'm over here dying. I'm dying from peak fiction. No, I'm just tired. My voice is just weak, but I gotta continue, because like Shihiro, I never give up. I gotta perceive and continue to go forward. And as long as my iPhone has battery, I shall do it. I don't know how long. I have not gotten a 20% thing, but I think it's coming up soon. Hopefully, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, or 2 hours and 19:33 seconds. And like I said, it's being powered by this mic. I was hoping it would help it kill the battery faster, but I guess it didn't, which is a good thing. It shows that my iPhone is good. It's competent. has long battery life. That's good. But it also means that I gotta suffer more. Man, I'm at the 2 hour and 20 minute mark. That's insane. I'm the same length as a, theatrical full length movie. That's crazy. I'm as long as like a Marvel movie. I'm like, what? That's crazy. Just me mumbling, talking about peak fiction, explaining to y'all the greatness of Kagura Bachi. And like I stress this enough. If you're watching this, please like this shit. Comment. What was your favorite, most emotional Kagura Bachi moment? And how did it change you? So let's subscribe. Please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, please. I need it. Do it. I introduce you guys to the peak fiction of Kagura Bachi, so the least you can do is subscribe, please. If you like what you've seen, if you're having fun, this is like a podcast kind of, just laying back, relaxing, hearing a guy talk nonsense for 2 hours and 20 minutes, 21 minutes now. If you're liking it, let me know. I might attempt to do something like this, but not for a long time. Maybe like if it's really pops off, if it's this popular, I might consider doing this again in the future, but not anytime soon because my voice needs some rest. After this, I'm gonna be mute for like 3 days because I'm gonna need my rest. I won't talk, like not even a single word, because my voice is truly gonna be messed up. Once again, gotta drink my water. But yeah, continuing on. One of the things with the Kagura Bachi makes it peak is that the sword itself, Chihiro's sword, the greatest swordsman in anime and manga, the black swordsman himself, the true black swordsman, his sword is more iconic than anything I've ever seen. The Dragon Slayer of Guts? Nah, mid. You think of Thorfinn's daggers? Mid. A lightsaber by Luke or Darth Vader? Mid. Any weapon, wands in Harry Potter? Nah, mid. When you think of the greatest weapon in fiction, there's only one answer, and that's Chihiro's katana. Because his katana managed to, it took him to newer heights. Like I said, by the end of the story, Chihiro was so strong that, he became the omnipotent, entity of the verse. He was the Zeno, in better terms, of Dragon Ball Super, but only stronger because there was a crossover that got leaked of Zeno being one-shotted by Chihiro's sword. And it's not even like, Chihiro is being carried by the sword now. He made the sword that. Because we find out earlier, like I said, is that the sword is not the true power of the weapon. The user is the power of the weapon. And like I stated, it's a metaphor for how we all human beings, we're the weapons. And, but our words are the weapons, but the people that wield them are the ones that really operate everything and where the power comes from. And I thought that it was a beautiful message. It's so beautiful that it made me cry. I'm genuinely getting emotional, guys, right now. My eyes are not closing because they're tired. I swear. I'm just emotionally drained from the peak fiction that I witnessed. But yeah, continuing with the Kagura Bachi, we see that the main cast, I don't even gotta repeat the main cast because you guys know. I mean, Chihiro's family, the uncle, top 10 greatest villains of all time, only behind evil Chihiro. And when we talk about evil Chihiro, I think that's part of the video where I really get to analyze evil Chihiro. So going forward, like for this part of the video, I'm going to be talking about evil Chihiro and the greatness, about why he's the greatest MC villain of all time. He's the greatest villain in fiction because the stuff that he does is insane. This guy, the way that he messes with Chihiro is insane and very, very smart and very, epic, iconic. So you remember the uncle that had, killed, all of Shihiro's family and why not? Well, it was shocking, and it was confirmed, and it was demonstrated to us as the audience that Shihiro's uncle was actually not the one killing the people. Instead, it was the evil Shihiro. Evil Shihiro, he snuck up and he learned this new technique which allows him to pretend to be the chain shifter, and he changed himself to become, the uncle, and he fooled everybody by killing, everybody, and blaming it on the uncle, and that's how the Shihiro fights the uncle and eventually defeats the uncle. Before the evil Shihiro, where he gets, because the evil Shihiro defeats the uncle because the uncle figures out that he's been lying and he's been framed, and that's where we have the evil Shihiro fight the uncle, because the uncle was actually a right guy. He was actually, right, all about righteousness and not about evil. But because of all that happened, that's how he became who he was, because he got corrupted, and it wasn't even, he got framed. He never got corrupted in the sense that his image got corrupted, because now everybody thought he was the villain, but in reality, it was the evil Shihiro. And he had been taking the uncle's looks and pretending to be him, but in reality he wasn't him. And it really pays off in a beautiful send-off for the uncle, where the uncle protects the good Shihiro by letting himself jump in between the strike that was going to kill Shihiro. He protects him, and the evil Shihiro stabs him, and that was beautiful, because throughout the story we kept thinking, the evil Shihiro, the uncle was the one killing the family, but in reality it was the evil Shihiro pretending to be the uncle. So the uncle dying by, the same way that everybody thought that he was killing people. I thought it was very poetic. And that's what gives the courage for Shihiro to step up and defeat the evil Shihiro. And when he does, that's when we get the training arc for those 600 chapters and so forward. And, and then we get the time skip and all that. But the time skip, that's its own different can of worms. But I'm gonna drink some water. Oh man, I'm tired. I can't believe I'm doing this. My poor throat. Rip to my throat. Can't believe this is happening. Why did I agree to do this? For the meme? For the shit pose? You damn right I did. The shit pose. The Kagura Bachi shit pose. When you Kagura Bachi too hard, that's what I flew too close to the sun. My mental psyche and my physical body are giving up, but my soul is not giving up, just like Shihiro. I will continue to strive and explain why Kagura Bachi's peak. And once I get to the 2 hour and 30 minute mark, I will go to the bathroom, because I need to, because I need to. But yeah, Kagura Bachi. Yeah, what do you guys think of it? The first chapter, peak fiction. Shihiro, goated. OST, goated. Anime, it's already anime of the year. 1 episode in. Anime of the year. Game of the year. Greatest manga. But that 1 chapter and all the spin-offs. There's nothing that comes even close to it. It's the GOAT. Simple as that. It's the GOAT. Nothing will ever even come close to Kagura Bachi, because when you analyze Chihiro's character, you don't see any cracks in there. It's always consistent. Always the defining trait of him is, that he's the dude. He is him. He is the legend. He is the Black Swordsman, the real Black Swordsman, because nothing comes close to him. I think that he is the defining trait that all humans should look forward to, because nothing even comes close to perfection. But if something were to be perfect, it would be Shihiro's character growth, because when he changed himself from a kid to an actual adult, surpassing all genetics and why not, that was an exceptional feat, something unlike we ever seen before. He is a one of a kind. He is our Lord and Savior, and I think that his words of wisdom will continue to live on with my life. When he says that every morning he wakes up with pure hatred, I think that that's us as humans, how much we're filled with hatred and why not, and how we gotta we gotta strive to become better and better ourselves and why not. And with that being said, it's the 2 hour and 30 minute mark, so I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Oh man. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm back. Oh, did I miss anything? I don't think so. How are you guys doing? Still there? Still watching? Still watching a madman's blabbering? I'm glad you are. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired. Drink some water. All right, back to Kagura Bachi. So one thing I want to talk about for sure involving Kagura Bachi is the author, which he's such an amazing author that I can't even say his name because my words can't even put it into comprehension. Like my voice is unworthy of speaking such a name of a genius like him. So, he's the type of author where, he just takes everything by storm. He became a worldwide phenomenon with his story Kagura Bachi. Everybody loves him. I think he's the GOAT. Kentaro Miura, Naoki Urasawa, Tatsuki Fujimoto, Ichiro Oda, Togashi, all of them phenomenal authors. But sadly, the new big dog in town came in. That's his name. Kagura Bachi guy. I can't even say his name. I'm not worthy. Never will be worthy. But he took over. He's the new GOAT. We gotta settle with that. But continuing on, let's talk about Kagura Bachi and its paneling. A way that I don't even want to talk about this paneling. Let's talk about the story structure of Kagura Bachi. The story, the way it's set up is, even though it's so much repetitiveness, maybe too much at times when it comes to these hundreds of chapters of flashbacks, but it all works out because at the end of the day we get this final product that it's amazing. Nothing unlike anything else. The one of a kind, true trailblazing series, phenomenal series that will forever have a special place in my heart because it really will go down in history as being the GOAT. Nothing else but the GOAT, because the villains, the fight sequences, the protagonist, everything is stellar. There's no flaws. If somebody tells you that there's something wrong with Kagura Bachi, then unfriend them right now. Stop talking to them. They don't know what they're talking about. If someone ever tries to criticize Kagura Bachi, you know that they're a danger to society. They have to be locked up immediately because they're lost their sanity. They're insane, and they gotta be captured and locked up because they should not be running around making such claims, because there is no such thing as criticisms to Kagura Bachi, because there's nothing to criticize about Kagura Bachi. Kagura Bachi is peak, and that's all there is to do. That's all there is there to when it comes to Kagura Bachi. It's just big fiction. And whenever I hear people saying like, oh, well, maybe you guys are overhyping it now, bro. Trust me. It is that. Kagura Bachi is that. Chihiro is him, okay? He is the GOAT. If Chihiro was in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, he would take down Sukuna. He would take down King Jaku in one swipe. If he was in the Berserk universe, he takes down Griffith and the God Hand. Like that. No questions asked. He was in the Dragon Ball Z universe, Super. He takes down Frieza, Zeno, anybody, Grandmaster. Who cares? Bleach, he were to fight Yuha Bach, the Quincy guy, one-shots him. Who's going to step up to him? Who? Well, I don't know. I'm asking y'all. Who's going to step up to Chihiro? Superman? Let's not even talk about anime or manga. Chihiro versus Superman. Guess what? Chihiro doesn't even need the kryptonite. Chihiro is just packing that much power in his blade and his swings that he will be easily defeat Superman. Like nothing. It won't even be. It'll be child's play, to be honest. And at the end of the day, I mean, you gotta think about it. I mean, is he really gonna be? Is Chihiro gonna be stopped by anything? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know any character in fiction that can stop him. I mean, who? I don't know. When you think of the strongest beings in, Sailor Moon or the whole meme, she can be Goku. She gets one-shotted. Goku gets one-shotted. Who's gonna step up? Gojo Satoru? Yeah, right. He getting bodied by my man Chihiro. He can open his eyes and he still won't see the blade even coming because Chihiro will cut him in half. Chihiro will definitely body anybody that steps up to him. Let's talk about Marvel. Who's gonna step up to him? The Living Tribunal gets one-shotted. The One Above All gets one-shotted. Thanos gets one-shotted. All these characters. A Celestial gets one-shotted. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can step up to my man in both fiction or real life. There's nobody like Chihiro. Chihiro is the strongest. His sword, like I said, weighs 7,000 pounds, and he's able to wield that. And he's just a human. He's just built different. His sword swipes can cut dimensions if he wishes. He holds back because he feels bad for the competition. He doesn't want to bully them. He doesn't want to make Goku cry. He doesn't want to make Gojo cry. He doesn't want to make Sukuna cry. He doesn't want to make anybody cry. He's that generous. But he knows when it comes down to it, if they try to fight him, he will fight back. And in the process, demolish anybody that comes his way. Why, you ask? Because he is him. This dude is the GOAT. Easy as that. My man has the most broken ability in the verse, where he can cut time and space, as well as his swordsmanship is on his own level. Nobody touching my man at all. Okay? Because my man is that dude. Always will be that dude. No matter how hard you try to avoid the facts, Chihiro will forever be the GOAT. Okay? You can't tell me otherwise. He is that dude. Okay? Better put some respect on Chihiro's name. Definitely put some respect on my man's name, because he's earned it. He's the strongest there is, strongest there was, strongest there ever will be. So stop playing around. Make my man the GOAT. He is the GOAT. The author is the GOAT. Kagura Bachi is already the big three. It is the big three. They have to boot everything out. They took it to the shop and, eliminated it. JJK, they said, no, bro, sorry. You can't finish the calling games. You're done. Wrap it up. One Piece, sorry. You can't finish Eggman Island. Wrap it up. My Hero, sorry. Final arc, not anymore. Kagura Bachi's here. That three, the next big three, for all the old heads out there, they're thinking about, well, what about the One Piece, the Bleach, and the Naruto, the big three? There'll never be another big three. Well, guess what? There is already. It's called the Kagura Bachi Big Three, consisting of Kagura Bachi, and Kagura Bachi. All right, that's the big three. You gotta move on. Let it go. You guys had your time, but guess what? It's Kagura Bachi time. There'll never be another series like it. 1 billion chapters sold in the first chapter. Just saying. They didn't even need a volume. That's how good it was. It beat the highest grossing movie of all time in Morbius. Morbius had like 3 billion. It made $3 billion. Guess what? Kagura Bachi made 4 billion. In the early screening, they didn't even get a proper premiere. That goes to show the fan base of Kagura Bachi how big it is. Because Kagura Bachi, like I said, it's It's unlike anything we've ever experienced. Kagura Bachi will continue to live on and be acknowledged as the single greatest work of fiction for a millennia, I think, because when you think of storytelling, you think of Shakespeare, you think of Kentaro Miura's Berserk, you think of Lord of the Rings, you think of stuff like that, but Dune. But when you think about true peak fiction storytelling, then you think about Kagura Bachi. You don't think about those other ones. Those other ones are here. Kagura Bachi's up here, bro. You see, I'm off the screen. You can only imagine how high I am talking about Kagura Bachi. How much of its excellence. Kagura Bachi's high up there. Compared to everything low down here, Kagura Bachi's high as they can be. That's crazy. I'm almost at 3 hours talking nonsense about Kagura Bachi. If you're watching this, hope you're liking it. Hope you're liking a madman's blabbering. Hopefully you're entertained. Hopefully you're liking and subscribing and commenting. Like I said, comment down below what's the saddest Kagura Bachi moment and how did it move you. What like the video, subscribe, please subscribe. Listen, my destiny, my rightful mission after this video is making sure I got the longest Kagura Bachi video in all of YouTube in existence. And I think I'm very close at doing so. How close, I don't know, because I can't check my iPhone live. I'm too scared that I'll stop the video. And this is a one-shot video, so I don't want to make it into 2 parts. So when the footage dies, it dies. Now, will when the phone dies, does it record or does it not? I don't know. I guess that's something I'll figure out on my own, right? As it goes. So hopefully everything's figured out. Hopefully I'd never have to do this again. But if it's really popular, if it really pops off, if you guys really enjoy it, really like it, you guys ask for more of this, I'll do it. But not anytime soon. I need a training arc of just resting. Not even talking. Just my voice, my vocal cords, just resting. I'm going to be mute for a while. I'm going to be like a manga character. I'll write everything down. I can't speak. Because my voice has taken such a toll. Have you ever tried talking for 2 hours and 50 minutes nonstop? It's very hard. So once again, mad props for all the teachers out there. All the educators out there. Anybody in HR, anybody that has to talk for hours on end. I give you guys mad props because this is very, very hard. I don't know how you guys can do it. Because this is dreadful. To say the least, this is dreadful. But in a good way. In a meme way. In a meme posting way, And I think at the end of the day, we all had our fun. We're all going to laugh. People are going to look at this video thumbnail and going to be like, why is this so long? Why is this a video? And that's the point of it. I'm doing this as a meme. I want to make sure that people watch this and they're like, I think at the beginning of the video, I think I did a pretty good job. Like making it satirical. Like people know it's a joke. So, people that's the point. I want them to look at that thumbnail and read the video description and read the name of the video and all that and be like, what is this? What is this Kagura Bachi hype that's multiple hours long? Why is this guy talking about Kagura Bachi until his iPhone dies? I need to know. And then they'll click and they'll witness, like I said, a man's blabbering. But to be fair, this has been fun. Just testing the limits of human capacity and human wits and improvising. Nothing has been scripted. No, I never script anything. I always go in one shot. I try to go well with anything I do. There's no script. I just go and tell you guys how I feel. This, on the other hand, I gotta make a lot of sarcasm, a lot of wits. Very hard to make on the fly. But I'm pretty proud. I think I did pretty good with the uncle, explaining the peak of the uncle, the top 10 anime villains of all time, and the evil Shihiro. I think the world building that I've done with Kagura Bachi, I think it's something that the author will look and be like, yeah, I'll do that. This is insane. Can't believe this. 2 hours and 53 minutes. I'm almost at 3 hours, guys. I'm almost at Avengers Endgame level. I'm almost Avengers Endgame. I think Avengers Endgame is like 3 hours, 2 minutes. And I still haven't gotten the 20% thing. I don't even know where my phone battery's at. That's the funniest part. I just gotta keep going. Non-stop. We'll see that. We'll test the limits of an iPhone. I've never had an iPhone. Like, I should probably... what would have helped probably if I put the brightness all the way up. If I did that, the battery would have died faster, I think. Oh well, I messed up. I could have made it die faster. I don't know where it's at. If you guys are probably in the comment section looking up like how long can an iPhone last while being plugged to an while powering a microphone, because this is powering a Blue Yeti microphone. So I don't know how, but good on Apple though. 3 hours of recording in an iPhone, that's pretty impressive. There's an iPhone 12 Pro Max, I think, or something like that. I forget. There's too many iPhones. Little tangent right now. Did you guys see the new iPhone, the 15? How like it's so easy to break? What's that about? Like, Apple, what are you doing? Like, what? Why is it Apple specifically that all their phones are like the most delicate things ever? You always gotta buy an iPhone, and when you do, whenever you get an iPhone, a new iPhone, you gotta get like a super expensive case, because if you don't, your phone's gonna break, and then it costs way more to like fix the screen and all that. What's the deal? Just make good quality phones that don't break, like that don't break like at the smallest cuff ever, or they don't get scratched up. Just a little tangent. Like, and if anybody has an iPhone 15, tell me your experiences. Did yours already break? I've seen people like say that they had it in their pocket and they sat on it and like it broke. Now the question at that point becomes like, are you overweight, or did it just break because like, it's just that delicate? You know what I mean? Because like if you're like a sumo wrestler and you sit on it, like I can see why it would break. But if you're just like a regular person, you sit on it and it breaks or whatever, like that's a problem. But enough of Apple talk. I don't know. You guys didn't watch this video for Apple. You're here for the Kagura Bachi peak, which I'm not done explaining. I'm not even close, because apparently to my iPhone, this has not even been half or 80% of their battery life, which is insane. 3 hours. Good. Once again, mad props to Apple. But once again, I'm also very confused in how it has so much freaking life. When I have a powered, I thought having this be powering the microphone would make it like make the battery die way sooner, but apparently not. Which, I mean, it makes it funnier at the end of the day, because like this video is gonna be like extremely freaking long, which was the point of it. Like with the thumbnail and the name of the video and all that. That's the point of it, just be a meme. But like, how far are we taking this meme? Are we gonna like we're gonna take it like 4 hours, 5? Jesus, I don't know how long this will last. But if you're watching this, I can't stop saying this. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. You're looking at a madman at the end of losing his sanity. I'm about to be, what's his name? Like the Ice King from Adventure Time or something. Like lose his sanity, just become a madman. Like just spewing like nonsense. Oh boy. My eyes are heavy. They're so tired. It's because you know what it is? It's the lights. That's probably what it is. I could get my glasses. But then, yeah, I could get them, but I'm lazy now. Too tired. It's okay. I'll sleep in. Like for the rest of the day. It's my day off. I'll just sleep in. And like rest. And like never have lights like this for this amount of period of time, because this is exhausting. This is literally like mentally and physically, I'm like shattering as the minutes go by. You're looking truly at the peak of human capacity. Those ones, once again, shout out to the streamers. I don't know how you guys can do this. Twitch streamers, you guys are built different, alright? I cannot look at a computer screen or lights for hours on end. Just consistently just doing that. Like, no, I can't. Hence why I don't think I'll ever be a Twitch streamer at all. If I am, I need those glasses, like the ones that cancel out lights. Because this is getting tiring. Oh boy. But yeah. Kagura Bachi. Almost at 3 hours. You're still there. How much food have you eaten? Get some more snacks. Get some more food. Get some more. You're drinking, get some more liquor. Just lay back, relax on the couch, and watch a madman continue to blabber on and on and on and on about explaining why Kagura Bachi is peak. Because to me, Kagura Bachi will forever be the one and only Shonen Jump series that transcends all of fiction, that I can proudly say is truly peak fiction. Because unlike anything else, there's nothing that comes even close to this. This is the epitome of peak fiction in every sense of the word. Kagura Bachi has shaped me and made me the man I am today, for better or for worse. You know, it seems like right now I'm Kagura Bachiing too hard, but it's okay. I'll get some rest, I'll regroup, I'll rebuild. But you know what won't happen? I won't stop talking about Kagura Bachi though. And with that being said, it seems like we're officially now at the 3-minute mark. Or we're getting to the 3-minute mark. Like, yeah. Oh man. This is dreadful. Oh boy, I'm tired. I'm very tired. But it's okay. Like I said, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna lay down, go to sleep, wash my face, take a shower. I mean, I took one earlier, but take another one. That's how you know it's bad. When you feel disgusted. Like, I'm not even sweaty or anything. I'm just disgusted at myself. Because, why? Because I'm not worthy of praising Kagura Bachi and the greatness. So, like, I'm a peasant. Well, they're royalty. So, like, I gotta learn my limits. That's what I'm learning right now. I'm learning Kagura Bachi. It's a goated series. I know why now. Because it's the GOAT. Nothing comes close to it. Not One Piece. And let's talk about the man C, Chihiro. Chihiro's writing. Can't stress this enough. Like I said, Thorfinn. Nah. Mid. Guts. Mid. Spike Spiegel. Mid. The list goes on and on. Edward Elric. Mid. Gone Freaks. Mid. Mob. Mid. All these characters are just, lackluster. Cheaply made imitations. Bootlegs of the true savior Chihiro. Because Chihiro is that dude. Chihiro is my king. Chihiro is the reason I wake up every morning and I continue to push. Because of his lines such as, scum like yourselves don't deserve to wield katanas. Like, those panels of Chihiro, just his growth is what made me be the man I am today. And I can't stress this enough. Chihiro, it like Chihiro to me is the thing that society and humankind needed when we need, like, when we were our lowest. Who was there to lift us up and made us realize that we're not alone? It was Chihiro, the legend himself. He was there. He took care of us. And he taught us how to be better human beings. And that's something that we can't take for granted. The greatness of Chihiro, the legendary swordsman, the true black swordsman. My man is the GOAT. And I think that, in 100 years from now, we're going to have a society where there's 90% of people's names are Chihiro, because they all have been moved and now they want to become fathers and, raise them up and teach them the same teachings that Chihiro taught them. Because Chihiro is a transcendent character, a trailblazer, a character that has a legacy that will live on for generations amongst generations. I would say will live on even amongst a millennia. That's how I think of Chihiro. I think of him that highly, yes. Why, you ask? Because he's the GOAT. Nobody has ever been even close to Chihiro's caliber when it comes to a writing or, design structure, anything regarding a character, whether it's his outfit, his character development, his storytelling behind him. All of it has been A1, top tier. And I think that Chihiro has shocked everybody. He definitely shocked me. I thought Chihiro, the second Chihiro came to be, I thought he was, I didn't even think, I knew he was going to be the GOAT. Just from his black trench coat, black pants, everything black. I knew this is the guy we need in our lives. This is our Lord and Savior. Mr. Swordsman. Legendary swordsman himself. Chihiro. The guy that put the Kagura in the Bachi. The guy that delivered the iconic line, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. I mean, it's obvious as clear as day. What else is there to say? Chihiro is my hero. I strive to become like Chihiro. I want to have a katana and do, slice the dimensional barriers and be an OP swordsman. But not because of all those cool abilities, but because I would be a better man. A true warrior. Both in the physical and literal sense. Because Chihiro is a true warrior. He fights with his katana to stop other Yakuza members. And deliver nothing but iconic panels in every scene he's in. Panels such as him with the blood splatter everywhere in his face in chapter 1. That panel to me is more iconic than the eclipse, than Goku going Super Saiyan. Nothing comes even close to the greatness that is Chihiro's paneling. Anytime he's on screen, it's a 7,000 out of 10 moment. Chihiro constantly improves himself and is, to me, and will forever be, my one and only true role model. He will always be my hero. He has moved me. He has put a fire on my soul that has been the greatness of the Kagura Bachi. I joked earlier, I said that I might have Kagura Bachi too hard. I don't think that's a bad thing, though. I think this is the great thing. about Kagura Bachi. I think everybody needs to hear this and understand that Kagura Bachi is the thing that I'm not just saying is all this for nothing. I mean, Kagura Bachi is Kagura Bachi. I mean, he'll always be the dude. He will always be the legend, the swordsman himself. But there's something amongst that it's even more than that. Just that. I mean, God, the Chihiro. I mean, even the name. That name sounds cool. You tell somebody, hey, yo, Chihiro coming through. Well, make way for Chihiro. I mean, he's the champion, right? Even his words. Chihiro. Chihiro. You see, you can't spell Chihiro without he in it, because he is him. That is my king, the black swordsman. You see, I'm closing my eyes because I'm analyzing and dreaming about Chihiro as we speak. The true essence of a peak fiction character. The one and only character I would say is truly the GOAT. The one that stands above everybody else. That's why I'm continuing to close my eyes. For that and no other reason. Because I'm just picturing Chihiro and the greatness of Kagura Bachi. As we speak, I'm imagining the paneling, the beautiful story, the immense world building. Why? Because Kagura Bachi has touched my soul. And I don't think I'll ever find another series that will live up to this hype. And as you're looking at me, I'm closing my eyes, continuing to think about Kagura Bachi in newer ways. Because to me, Kagura Bachi will, to be frank, is a true genius's piece of work. A true genius that we all gotta take under consideration. And we gotta thank him the second if I ever meet the creator of Kagura Bachi, I'm gonna get on my fours and beg him, like, please shake my hand. I'm a peasant, but you're the GOAT, and I need you. I need you to acknowledge me. And he'll probably be like, no. And I'll be like, okay, fair enough. You're still the GOAT, though. You're still the GOAT. Will forever be the GOAT. And with that being said, I'm gonna drink some water. Tired. Oh, man. My eyes. My poor, delicate eyes. Man. What percentage is my phone on? I don't want to do it. I don't want to check. I'm at 3 hours and 11 minutes at this point. And I keep marking these numbers down because, like, I probably will cut, like, the first, like, I don't know, minute or something. Because, like, I edited this. Well, I didn't edit it, but, like, I trimmed it. Like, you know, in your phone settings in iPhones where you can, like, trim a video. I did that. Because, like, for the skit at the beginning. But, I mean, we're at the 3 hours mark. Like, 3 hours and 10 minutes at this point. Something like that. But I'm tired. I want to give up, but I can't. Is this ASMR? Is that what I'm doing right now? Listen. It's Kagura. You mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. What am I even doing, bro? Is this what solitary confinement feels like? That's what it feels like right now. I'm trapped in my own room, talking about Kagura Bachi ad nauseam, like non-stop. The difference is I'm inflicting this own harm on myself. But that's what I get for messing with the Kagura. Because once I did that, I knew that Bachi was coming. Okay. How you doing? Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. You enjoying this? You enjoying my suffering? If you are, subscribe. Leave a like. Comment. Do all of those things. Please. I'm begging you. My voice is dying. By the way, mod props for voice actors. I always had mad respect for them. I have my biggest, like, amount of respect for all voice actors working today, because you guys are in the booth for like the whole day. You do your lines. Amazing. You gotta keep repeating your lines. Your voice gets worn out. I don't know how you guys can do it. I'm at 3 hours. I'm already crying. I'll cry, baby. 3 hours in, I'm dying. I'm not even dying. I am dead inside. But that's okay, because I'm about to talk about Kagura Bachi, and it will lift my spirits once again. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. That's Kagura Bachi. Anytime I think about Kagura Bachi, my brain computes in its neurons, and in its muscles, and all those thing that connects me as an individual. It just makes me realize, like, yeah, Kagura Bachi. You gotta do it for him. You know that meme, the Simpsons meme, do it for him, or do it for her, or whatever, or do it for them, whatever the meme is. I'm doing it for that's me with Kagura Bachi. I'm doing it for Chihiro. All of this for Chihiro, because this is Kagura Bachi posting at its finest. I wanted to make a message, a statement, that Kagura Bachi is the best. And like I said, if you're watching this, hope you're enjoying it. Because as we speak, I'm dying inside. Got a hair in my eyeball. But yeah, Kagura Bachi. The story itself, immaculate. Truly peak fiction. One of a kind. Never done before. Only poorly imitated. Nothing will ever come as close as Kagura Bachi when it comes to peak fiction. I'm sorry. It is what it is. When it comes to shonens, greatest fights of all time, you think of Goku versus Frieza. You think of Cell versus Gohan. You think of Vegeta versus Goku. You think of Gon versus Killua. I mean, not Gon versus Killua, I'm sorry. You think of Gon versus Hisoka. You think of, Sukuna versus Gojo. You think of, Madara versus Gai Sensei. You think of Rock Lee versus Gaara. You think of Naruto versus Sasuke. You think of Toguro versus Yusuke Urameshi. You think of Shinsui versus Yusuke. You think of all these iconic fights. But all of them fall second. Only behind, Chihiro versus Evil Chihiro. Because that's a fight that shook me and changed the shonen genre as a whole. Like, it devastated, like, me when I was reading it. And when I read the leaks. And I'm sure every other artist out there, after that, they realize there's nothing that can come close to this. This is true perfection. Kagura Bachi. Like, that's a name that will stick with everybody for the rest of their life. Like I've said, you mess with the Kagura, you get the Bachi. That I got goosebumps just from saying that. I might drink some water. Oh, man. You know what's crazy? We're almost at the 3 hour and a half mark. We're almost at the Lord of the Rings Return of the King. Oh my god, why am I doing this? For the memes, of course. It's always for the meme. Yo, imagine if Kagura Bachi actually, like, no joking aside, imagine if it's peak. Becomes the highest grossing manga of all time. What am I talking about? What if it has? One chapter in, it already did. You know, Kagura Bachi is gonna get the authors, like, he's gonna get his Nobel Peace Prize pretty soon. And I can't wait. Now, like I stated, I think that the reason this story will continue to be peak fiction many years to come is through its intelligent and masterful dialogue, as in its iconic quotes, such as when Chihiro's like, the only people, no, I'm sorry, different one. My brain is in shambles right now. Thinking about the line where he's like, I wake up every morning with despair. Then you're like, wow, he's me. He's just like me, for real, for real. Chihiro's me right now. I mean, just purely despair. I stared at the abyss. That abyss was called Kagura Bachi. And the Kagura Bachi stared back at me. Yeah. That's what happened. I lost myself in the Kagura Bachi. Oh my goodness. I'm dying. Bro, if you genuinely are still here at the 3 hour and 15 plus minute mark, you need an award. I'm virtually hugging you, fist pumping you. You need like all the best wishes in the world. You earn a medal. Like, the senior citizens discount, you get like a discount because if you see this video, if you actually stick around and watch all this insane length of this Kagura Bachi video, I think you earned it. Oh my god. Oh, man, how long is this gonna go? Oh man. I mean, at least you guys know that this iPhone, I mean, if you got an iPhone Pro, I mean, at least you guys know that if you guys have an iPhone 12 Pro Max, you have a good lifespan if you're recording, right? I mean, enough to record the Godfather, apparently, and almost the Return of the King as of this point in time. But yeah, I mean, it's insane, crazy. But let's talk about it. Let's keep talking. What do we talk about? How you doing? How's your day going? Have you drank enough water? You already ate? If you haven't, you gotta eat something. Get more food. Get more snacks. I'm not done yet. Drink some water. You're not hydrated. Drink some more. This is my second glass. I'm very curious to see how many I'll drink by the end of this video, because my voice is dying. It's very, very, like, worn out. Like, I'm sure if you listen to the beginning of the video and then come to this part, you'll be like, his voice consistently got it's consistently got worse and worse, and it got more rough. And yeah, my voice got worn out pretty quick, to say the least, right? Hopefully I can recover from this. If not, I Kagura Bachi too hard. I flew too close to the sun, or in this case, I flew too close to the Kagura Bachi. You gotta give me a salute. If you're watching, you gotta salute me for this hard task that I took upon myself. Whoa. And something just happened. I don't know what it did, but something happened. Oh well, I think I'm good. It should be good. I don't know. I felt something. I don't know what happened. Everything seems about fine. Yeah, everything seems about fine. I thought something broke. Like, I thought something fell or something. I don't know. But nothing fell. I've just been losing my sanity. That's about right. But yeah, how you guys doing? Doing good? ASMR. Oh man. 3 hours, 20 something minutes. That's crazy. I would have never thought that. You know, at first I thought, oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun video, which it is. It has been fun. You know, just having fun, messing around. But then you look yourself as you're recording, you're like, wow, I actually went through with this. Man, imagine if, you know what, play this at my funeral. Years from now, when I'm an old, decrepit man and I pass away peacefully in my own bed from old age. I want this whole 3-hour video to be played at my funeral, at the reception. And I don't want nobody to say any like, oh, he was a great person. No, just play the video. Play this 3+ hour video about me talking about the peak fiction that is Kagura Bachi. Because this will be better service in my legacy than anything else. Oh my god. Ooh, okay. Bro. What am I even saying, bro? Do you ever just like spew some random nonsense that you're like, bro, how did that even like get in your mind? That's just me right now. With the funeral thing. I just imagine like all my friends and family just like a moment of silence. Now we shall proceed to play this 3-hour video about George talking about Kagura Bachi. And then like them being like, well, we can't say no, it's his dying wish. It's like a straight It's Always Sunny or Curb Your Enthusiasm like episode. Like that shit. This whole thing is just silly, bro. This is just silly. How long do I have? I'm at 3 hours and 20 something minutes. How long is this iPhone gonna last, bro? I haven't even gotten your battery's at 20%. Which I wonder if when that happens, will it be like the alert that makes it turned off? Like, does my video automatically turn off because that notification came up, or is it still shooting? I'm very curious because I don't know. Yeah, I'm very curious. I don't know. So, how would that work? I don't know. But yeah, anyway. Talking to myself in the camera. You know. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Just a madman's blabbering about nonsense for 3 hours plus. Like I said, is this how solitary confinement feels like? I think this is worse. Because I'm genuinely talking about Kagura Bachi being peak fiction for 3 hours. Unlike somebody that can just like sleep in. They're not forced to do anything. They can just sleep it off. I can't. But it's okay. Because every time going forward after this video, every time I close my eyes, just like I did right now, I will only be thinking about, Chihiro and his legacy, and the legacy of Kagura Bachi, pulling up the sword, and the importance of, in peak fiction. And I will forever be grateful about such manga being created, because it changed my life, for better or for worse. But it changed my life, all right. Um, but yeah, Kagura Bachi, the storytelling, magnificent, very unique, trailblazer, phenomenal. The title of the video says everything. I mean, it's peak fiction for a reason, right? It's peak. You can't tell me otherwise. I mean, the highest selling manga of all time, anime of the year, game of the year, with only one chapter out. And you might be wondering, is he closing his eyes? Yeah, I'm closing my eyes because I'm thinking of Chihiro right now. I'm thinking about Chihiro and the greatness that is this series as a whole. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to be more like him because he is my role model. I wake up every morning hoping to become as good of a man as Chihiro is. And I think that's something that everybody should do. Because I promise you when I say that Chihiro's lessons will forever live within your hearts. It will live on forever and ever and ever and ever. Nothing will ever even come close to the greatness that is my man, Chihiro, the one and only. The dude that came in and said, I'll wake up every morning with despair. With a cup of despair or whatever. Legendary quote. Phenomenal quote. Made me cry. That's how iconic it is. It made a grown man cry. And I finished my water. So that means I gotta refill. Oh boy, I'm tired. But I gotta keep pushing forward. Bro. My mental health is in shambles right now. Okay, this is my third cup of water. Hold up. Putting this over here. And then my water. Okay. Back in business. Let me drink some water real quick. Ooh, tired. Oh man, that's my poor throat needed all that. If you're watching this, do not attempt this. Should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video. Like, anybody trying to do something like this, be aware that you will come out of it as a changed man, just as myself. I think I will tell this to my future family members, my nieces, and nephews and all that. I will tell them about the story about their uncle looking at a camera for 3+ hours talking about Kagura Bachi, the peak fiction series that hopefully they get put to sleep, every single night by reading the first chapter. The story that drives them to, become better human beings every second that they think about this series. And yeah, we're at the 3.5 hours mark, so we're officially Return of the King level. We're at the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the climax of the Lord of the Rings at this point. And it looks like we're not nowhere in sight for the climax of this video because I still haven't gotten my 20% battery thing. Oh my goodness. How much time do I got, dude? I'm genuinely in pain. I just wanted to. I thought. I mean, this has been fun. I ain't gonna lie. This has been fun. Just how insane of a task. Like the you have to put yourself in a mental state where you can like withstand this. And I think I have. I think I have complained a lot, but I still have been pushing forward. It's a physical and mental thing because you also got to be sitting down in a certain position for multiple hours. On your mental state because you got to think about stuff to come up with on the fly. So it's a very, very difficult task, for sure. What's something that I'm the most shocked about is how long my battery life is, even with my iPhone attached to this microphone and powering this microphone. You see, all this time I thought, I figured, this does take a lot of battery. Whether it does or not, I mean, I don't know. But it sure is taking quite a long time to even get the 20% mark. So let's say, hypothetically, like we're at the 4-hour mark. And then the 20% thing shows up. So that would put me... So 20%, okay. So now I'm doing math. You're in the math section. Comment down below if you already figured it out. So if you're at the 4-hour mark and 20% of 4 hours, so divide 6. So 60 times 4, that's 240. So 60 times 4, 240, and then divide that by 5. 240 divided by 5, that would put it at 28 minutes, I believe. Something roughly like that, if it's 4 hours. So then by the end, the video would be like 4 hours and 20 something minutes by that logic, if it were to happen at that point, which I doubt because my phone has not even given me the 20% thing yet, which I'm shocked. I should have put the brightness all the way up. That would have helped. Maybe just a little bit, but at least would have helped. But it's okay. I can't blame anybody but myself. I'm the one that did this. Nobody forced me to do this. I wanted to do it. And it has been a blast. It really has. But it also has been a burn. It's been a curse similar to Chihiro's cursed weapon. Which, let's go back to Chihiro and talk about why Kagura Bachi is peak fiction. Because that blade of his, like I said earlier, it's the greatest blade in history. You think of King Arthur lifting the sword in the stone. A lot of people think that's one of the most iconic moments in fiction. And one of the best swords is the Excalibur, but no, Excalibur no. And you might be asking why would you even say that? And my reason is because Chihiro's sword is so iconic that you don't even need to remember the name of it. You don't, because it's that iconic. You just look at it, you're like, yeah, that's the sword. With the Excalibur, you need a name behind it because otherwise it's just a sword. So I think by that logic itself, I think that Chihiro's sword is more iconic than the Excalibur, just because it doesn't even hold a name. That I don't even remember the name of it because I don't have to. I just know it because his katana is that iconic. It's just that good. Well, what else you want me to say? I mean, it is what it is. I don't make the rules. I just go by them. Man. I want to rest. Man. That's crazy. What if I fell asleep? What if I just close my eyes and you guys watch me falling asleep? But in my sleep, I'm sleep talking Chihiro. Don't forget the Kagura Bachi. What have you heard that? Genuinely, you close your eyes, you go to sleep and wake up to a dude talking about Kagura Bachi. What you do? What if I'm your sleep paralysis demon now? You said, Mom, this the monster. That's the monster that talks about Kagura Bachi at night. That haunts me. Everywhere I go, I see him. Man, what am I even talking about? Bro, like, after this, like, my mental state is gonna fucking needs to rest for a while. My ass is gonna go to sleep, bro. Is that even funny? My ass is gonna go to sleep after this because I'm both physically and mentally drained. I don't know, bro. I don't know how people can do this. I'm definitely not built for this, but I'm still trying. Definitely trying. So I think that's where I get most of my effort for, right? Plus, I like to think that this video is great for, like, you put it in the background, you're doing like a homework or an assignment or something. You just listen to a dude's, you put in your headphones in, you're watching, with your YouTube, you listening to it as like a podcast kind of thing. I think it works. I think it's good. You just listen to this video, like, headphones on. I think it's just great if you're bored. You're going on a field trip, you put this in the car. You just relax, relax, lay back, listen to some Kagura Bachi peak. I think this is great. I think anybody that's ever bored, put this on. You ain't got nothing to do. Just listen to a dude just speaking nonsense. My bad, not nonsense. Speaking truth, okay? But just listen to this guy, and as the video goes on, see how this guy's mental state continues to go in shambles as it goes. Until he eventually, like, loses all sanity. Oh man, I'm so tired. We're at 3 hours and almost 40 minutes. Jeez Louise. How far can this meme carry? I wonder. The biggest question is, how long can this phone withstand this? Because I said, like, I'm only doing this once. If this video footage gets lost some way, oh my god, bro, I'm genuinely gonna lose my shit. If this video gets deleted or some shit, like, by accident, if I delete, I don't know, I don't even want to think, oh my god, don't even say it. If this video gets lost, or I don't know what I do with it, like, accidentally press delete file or something, oh my, bro, I'm genuinely gonna, like, I'm gonna pull my hairs. I'm gonna lose all my sanity, because I don't know what I'll do if that happens. Just the fact that I wasted 3 hours and a half of my life speaking nonsense, or, my bad, like I said, speaking truth about Kagura Bachi. That's insane. I need, like, a medal. I need something, because I earned it. I think I earned that much. That much in the sense of, I think that my sanity has taken a toll, and the only way to be able to heal from such a toll is by liking and commenting and subscribing to my channel. In this video, by dropping a like and subscribing to my YouTube channel, as well as commenting down below your most emotional moment while reading Kagura Bachi. Or if you read the spin-offs of hundreds of chapters that I've stated in the past, where the leaks and all that. Name me your saddest Kagura Bachi moment. Doesn't even have to be from the first chapter. It can be from the spin-offs, for all you care. But let me know down below why Kagura Bachi speak to you. I mean, it speak to me. I want to know why it speak to all of you guys. But yeah, let's keep talking. I'm resting my eyes, don't worry. But not just for myself, I'm resting them for Chihiro himself, the GOAT. I know Chihiro would want me to get some rest, but I'm trying to become a stronger person, Chihiro. I'm trying to defy all laws of physics. I'm trying to go somewhere that no other man has gone. I'm trying to get to the abyss of the Kagura Bachi fandom. I want to do an iceberg. How deep does it go? How deep does this iceberg of Kagura Bachi content go? I think I have my answer. It goes this pretty deep. It goes 3 hours and 40 minutes plus deep. Whew, man. How y'all doing? They're doing pretty good, right? I hope. You still there? Chilling? Oh my god, bro. I'm at 3 hours and 40 minutes. That's insane, bro. Why did I do this? For the memes, of course. Only for the memes. So please share this to the Kagura Bachi Reddit. Explain to them why this is peak fiction. Share this to everybody. The Kagura Bachi broke the internet. Why Kagura Bachi is peak fiction. Let them all know the truth behind the Kagura to the Bachi. Because I don't even know what to say. I think I've said everything I needed to. But it's still rolling. Camera's still on me. Shihiro's still being the GOAT. Kagura Bachi still being the GOAT. So I gotta keep going. Somewhere or another, I gotta figure it out. Why? Because you gotta ask yourself, what would Shihiro do? I think Shihiro would continue to persevere and strive. Never give up. Prove to everybody why he is truly the GOAT. Why Shihiro is him. Has always been him. And that's a very important thing. Ooh, that's so crazy. I genuinely don't know what my thought process will be once the 4-hour mark hits. Once that happens, I'll be like, bro, how long can an iPhone battery last? I should have done my research before this, but it's okay. I think this makes it way funnier. I definitely know it makes it funnier for you guys, because you guys are like, well, you still got like 3 hours left, bro. What's gonna happen? I don't want to know what's gonna happen, bro. I'm exhausted. I don't ever want to see a phone. Like, I don't want to ever shoot something for a long period of time. I think I'm gonna have PTSD from this experience. This has been absolutely rough. This has been very, very miserable. But for you guys, it's been very fun, hasn't it? That's good. Like I said, put this in the background. You're doing homework, cooking, making a family meal, driving around town. Put this. If you ever just want to kill time, just play this in the background. I think it's very soothing. I think it's very fun, very engaging. I think, like I said, I think it's just a fun time. You're definitely missing out if you just get to the end. So for all of you guys still watching, you're the real ones. Man, you know what's crazy? If someone were to timestamp this video, that would be a task. If anybody timestamps this video, you're honestly built different. You're a Giga Chad behemoth of a man. Like, the amount of risk you project is insane. Because I don't know how somebody could be able to do such a feat as timestamp a video like this length. But if someone is out there that can do it, I welcome you as a challenge, I guess, to do so. I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm ever rewatching this video. I don't ever want to rewatch this video. This video will live on though, in eternity, in YouTube's. This will live on always in YouTube's, like, archives. They'll have me there forever. When you look at videos like, analyzing so and so, you'll have like analyzing the events that took place before World War One. The events that took place before, big iconic moments like that. They'll have an iconic like thumbnail of me being like, Kagura Bachi, why it's peak fiction. I think that'll be YouTube's headquarters will be completely nothing without my assistance of this video. So much so that you even hear YouTube's private plane in the background. They're about to walk into my house and give me a deal that says proceed to give us the rights to this video, which I will. Bro, what am I even talking about? It's 3 hours and 40 something minutes, bro. It's close to 3 hours and 50 minutes, bro. What am I talking about? I don't know, bro. If you're still there, comment, like, and subscribe. I'm at my end here, bro. I'm coming towards my end. Okay. I'll try to talk about Kagura Bachi for like 10 minutes at least till the 4-hour mark. Yeah, it's gonna be rough because my voice is dying, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll withstand it. I'll persevere like our goat Shihiro would. Which, by the way, by the end of this video, that I'm gonna absolutely despise that name. Anytime I hear the name Shihiro, I'm gonna just have PTSD flashbacks. Which, by the way, if you're watching this video, if there was ever a drinking game about how many, take a drink or take a sip of your drink every time he says either Shihiro or Kagura Bachi, you're dying within like the first 30 minutes or 20 minutes of alcohol poisoning, because I've said that word so many times. So many times, in fact, that every time I hear it, like, it's like second nature to my body now. Like, it's natural now. Like, which I don't even know how to process that. But let's talk about back to Kagura Bachi and what makes it peak and why it's peak fiction. The reason I think it's peak fiction also is because it's amazing world building, where we spend so much time in this world and we see that there's people and like the cars and stuff like that, and that we see that early in the first chapter. But as we continue with the story and the spin-offs, we see that the Kagura Bachi world is bigger than we ever thought, because it's actually 7 times the size of Earth. So this world is insanely huge, and right now we're only in one little city. So imagine the amount of geological discoveries we'll find later on in the story, and the amount of like secrets and plot twists that will be resolved. Like, just imagine all that. That'd be insane. I don't know how something like that would ever. That thing, if a reveal like that were to happen, it would shake the fundamentals of of the world. Everybody will be shocked. It'll be a top 10 shocking moment of history, if not the number one. Because think about it, Kagura Bachi's just broke the internet once again. And with the world, it was crazy to when they did the crossover, where the Dark Continent was actually the Kagura Bachi world from Hunter x Hunter. Like the Dark Continent in Hunter x Hunter, the arc that's happening right now where everybody's trying to go to the Dark Continent. The big plot twist was that the Dark Continent is actually the Kagura Bachi world. That was insane. That was a huge spoiler that I just did, but guess what? You guys need to know it. Kagura Bachi time. And it's insane that I never saw that coming. Never saw that, Shihiro's world has always been the world that's in the Dark Continent. And it makes sense. I mean, we said, Hunter x Hunter, how small the world that Jean and them were inhabiting. And the Dark Continent was the real world. And once we saw, Shihiro go up to Jean and just give their fist bump to each other, it was like, whoa, that gave me chills. And, when Shihiro looked at, the Phantom Troop got scared and they didn't want to fight. Pretty much, Shihiro resolved everything in the Succession War arc. He stopped everybody. He made sure that nobody, interfered, and he put a stop to all of them, and proved once again why he's the GOAT. Why he is our Lord and Savior, Shihiro, the legendary swordsman. Unlike anybody else. The dude that we need. The hero we need. Shihiro. The guy that wields the strongest sword in fiction. The God himself. The MC of Kagura Bachi. The legendary swordsman. He is him. Always has been. Always will be. And when it comes to Chihiro, I don't know if there will ever be a character like him. Because he was a one of a kind, he came due to circumstances and the character growth we have with him versus the evil